Important
Alrighty.
distinction.
Session 17. Welcome back, folks, to the Grimpunk Lands of Terror! Last session, which was not that long ago, our party of tenacious travelers spent the night in Stenwald, capital of the Burok Empire's southern province of Rowland. After reporting your sighting of the beast to a pair of city guards, and then promptly forgetting about the encounter altogether, as legally required, you entered into the heavily polluted and industrial city, found rooms at an establishment that was not a Red Dog Inn, minus, of course, Elias and his savings, before setting out to restock on supplies. With firearms, magical components, a wagon, and even a stolen spellbook now in your possession, you set out the following morning as the newly branded Killjoys, traveling apothecary and physician, bound for Caer Boldor and Shum's former colleague, one Hoffrey Ghostforge. After a week on the road, you finally arrived at Hoffrey's house/forge, but the Killjoys were not the only ones visiting the dwarf. Perched on top of the roof, Elias noticed a drow man, dressed in a duster, covered in bone-white tattoos, moments before gunshots pierced the quiet night. Despite this dying man screaming for mercy, and Dandin's desperate attempt to intervene, looks as if she was too late. As for our mysterious gunslinger, little remains known about this figure. Perhaps, in a conversation to come, you will learn more. And that is where we are now. Go back over to Roll20 here and zoom over. With Hoffrey's stone statues stepping forward and shepherding you all together, you find yourselves close by a small pond, surrounded by trees and mountains in the distance. This would make for a rather idyllic scene, were it not for the not yet cold corpse on the ground before you, with 6 bullet holes all over, ranging from head to chest, arms and legs and back. Coming together now, surrounded by these stone statues, this beautiful scene and this corpse. What do you all do?
I wanted to just add something from before we left Stenwald. Just that, Corey currently would be dressed in, like, a nun's attire, like, full veil over her face. Like, probably the most, like, unexposing clothes she's ever worn. Only the mesh opening at her chest for the, bag of holding that's bound to her soul. But full veil, very tall, covering all of her.
Gotcha.
Who you did then?
What, Elias?
Because who are you then?
Gee.
Name's Kane. And I motion at the body. Sorry about the mess.
Well, the least decent thing you could do is put it in the pond. With some
Do you
rocks
want me
tied to
to?
it.
I'll take care of it. And I'd look at Hoffrey. Do you want that gone, or?
I would prefer if my pond remained corpse-free, if it's all the same to you.
Oh, speaking of bodies, and Kane actually is gonna go over to the corpse, and I need to search it real quick.
Yeah.
Um, I'm looking specifically for if he still carries his amulet from, and if he does, I want it.
What does this drow
An
look like?
investigation check. Yeah, and actually, this is a perfect opportunity before we do this check to describe yourself, Kane, and then for everyone else to describe your appearance for December. Who we see gathered in this little space.
I think I posted his Hero Forge thing in the thing last time as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, you see a relatively tall, about 6 foot drow man, thin, dark skin, purple eyes, short white hair under a black utility cap with a long black coat with little white trim on it. He is wearing a kind of what did I say? Halter style, waistcoat style, like vest underneath it. Around his waist, he has a belt studded with bullets, half of which are regular, half of which are silver. He has a pistol on his hip and another one on a shoulder holster, and what appear to be 2 rifle cases on his back, but they are both completely closed. And of course, the most obvious thing about him is the white skeletal tattoos or markings that cover his entire body. You can see them on his chest and on his fingers, and very delicately they are also done on his face, complete with black ink surrounding both of his eyes to give kind of that illusion of sockets. Since you have seen him, he has not changed his facial expression from just completely blank from when Elias saw him jump off the roof to when he followed you all back into the courtyard. And now he has gone over to the body to apparently search it.
Well, if that doesn't matter to you, Hoffrey, our Choom has some business with you. We thought it pertinent to discuss that.
And who says this? Describe yourself, John.
A towering man, of at least, with the boots he's rocking, in the general attire, probably about 6'5". Built like a fucking brick shit house, as my mother would have said. Just huge, massive guy, adorned in like gleaming knight's armor. It looks like fresh out of Chernolt. He has a salt and like pepper beard with streaks of white through his hair. It's a long black mane tied back in a bun of sorts. He carries not 2 but 3 weapons on him. You see 2 blades at his back, one massive and one a little bit more practical. And he appears to have a warhammer on his hip. He carries many accoutrements of war, and a prominent holy symbol of the Redeemer sits at his chest. His eyes are a bright emerald.
Hoffrey responding to you, John. Before we deal with any business, I think it's pertinent to resolve what has happened here. Now,
I didn't mean to presume relation, by all means.
Now, I'm not going to claim to have been any friend of this one here, but he sought succor beneath my roof. And now he's looking very pointedly at you, Kane. I do not like to see the sanctity of my home violated by strangers with guns. So I'll give you one chance to explain yourself. And then you see he mutters under his breath real quick and continues, tell the truth, for I will know if you lie. And Hoffrey has cast a zone of truth in this area.
Free. Why don't we leave the body to your servants, and we shall have tea inside, and the young men can explain himself. If that's
I've-
okay with you.
Gio,
I've
would you
still-
like to describe who says this?
A dragonborn, standing around 5'10", adorning a type of overcoat, a maroon colored overcoat. He looks elegant and he's sporting a cane, silver cane at the tip, black at the shaft. And he stands tall and looks like he has a serious face.
Joffrey casts like Zone of Truth. I'm still going over to search the body before I answer any questions.
Gotcha. As you are searching the body, give me an investigation check, and then everyone give me a charisma saving throw.
$16.
21.
Okay, investigation is a 16. Saving throw is 16.
For your investigation check, you do indeed find an amulet tucked beneath the dead Decker's shirt.
Correction, 19, because of John's aura.
Yeah, Dandon and not Elias, Corey both benefit from that right now.
Hold on. I know what I rolled on the dice, but my character sheet is being wonky doodles.
Whatever it is, add an additional 3 to it.
And an additional 3. Oh man. 15 or 25 total.
Kane pulls the amulet off of his neck, and he opens a little pouch on his side, and he drops it in, and you can hear the clink of a lot of other bits of metal in there. And he closes it up, and while I'm still next to the body, very briefly, Kane puts his hand on its chest and bows his head and mutters a quick prayer in Abyssal over the body.
As
What
quiet.
does he say?
Corelli, do you speak Abyssal?
I do.
It's a very short, basically, this is for you, do what you will.
I'm just gonna
As
just pocket that.
as Kane removes the amulet, the head, again, thoroughly blasted, of this corpse kind of flops over to the side, and as it hits the ground, Dandon, if it had eyes left, you know they would be looking right at you, and you hear in your head, "Mercy." That scream that echoed out, that plea, desperate, but silent now.
The radiant crackling flame have kind of subsided and died down, and Dandon's just Dandon still had the hood up, and so you can see the face and everything in there, but kind of shrouded at the moment, kind of just staring off towards the dead body, and looks up and makes eye contact with Kane. And Kane, you see under the hood curly locks, a spattering of freckles, bright golden eyes that are still shining a bit, and Dandon looks frustrated, and there's like frustration tears that are kind of coming down, and Dandon turns on her heels and just starts to walk back to the cart.
You do not walk very far before you are stopped by the stone statues.
what does it do to try to stop me?
They simply kind of just like reach out with their hands and like block. They're not putting a hand on you. They're just indicating that we're not letting you pass.
Can I try to get past them?
Yeah, absolutely.
I will use my
you can
nimble.
roll. Yeah, exactly. I
I'll-
think you
I'll
have
use
a
my-
feat for this.
Yeah, my nimble physique to take the dodge action. So if they like try to grapple me, they're at disadvantage.
Yeah, sure. Again, not going for any grapple or anything, so
Okay.
you're able to just kind of duck beneath
Yeah.
and weave between their hands and slip by. As Elias, you make this request of Hoffrey, and Danton goes to slip away. You see Hoffrey raises his voice. Not so fast, young one. I think it's better if we have a conversation together before we go our separate ways. And you see he's looking at you and looks back at the body. Oh, he's got very good insight. I see that you are troubled, child. Would you come here? Perhaps you can help me with something.
I give a nod towards Danton, kind of conveying that it's okay.
Okay. I just kind of stiffly walk over.
See, Hoffrey walks over to the corpse as well, gesturing for you to follow Danton. Looks at you, Kane. Now that you've had your time with the body, would you terribly mind if we did?
And just kind of puts his hands up and takes a few steps back. All yours.
The veiled woman's like direction of attention stays on Kane.
Yeah, and is there anything else you'd like to describe about Corey?
Oh, well, from what Kane sees, this is a woman dressed in all black. Aside from the white veil with the symbol of starlight on the front, you can only see her mouth from underneath it, but the veil goes up high, suggesting that there is something on top of her head. The gown she wears is very form-fitting, and there is an open like chest piece that is in the shape of a star that you can see a tattoo underneath, some type of sigil of some kind. Both of her hands are uncovered, and all of her fingers are tipped in like a cobalt blue with a band around each of her fingers of the same color. All of the markings are the same color. There is nothing else you can see of her, though.
Kane, give me a religion check.
Is he another cleric that doesn't have any bonus to religion?
We learned that last week or last time.
This is the triumvirate.
+0, bros.
Shitty religion.
+0.
18
Hey.
18.
with a +0.
As you look at Corey at this star design, you feel a stirring that you recognize as your goddess. This is an individual of note.
Looks at her for a minute, nods, and I'm just kind of keeping an eye on her out of the corner of my eye.
Danton. Hoffrey kneels down, regards the body, and looks at you. You are troubled by the passing of this one. But it doesn't seem as if you know him.
I'm troubled by the death of somebody who asked who begged to be spared.
Mercy. Yes. Let me see if there is anything I can do. And you see Hoffrey reaches into, again, wearing a very kind of fine, though not ostentatious coat. And you see he removes a jeweled icon. You see, Dandon, you're spotting diamonds, gold, precious gems. This item is worth a lot. And he begins to utter a prayer. Before a silvery light begins to shine out of this icon onto the corpse. Hoffrey's casting Resurrection.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh shit.
Resurrection.
Hoffrey is casting Resurrection, and you see that the broken, truly body of Decker begins to knit together, the flesh reforming.
I pull my gun.
You pull your gun.
I pull out one of my pistols and I aim it directly at Hoffrey. Whatever you're doing, stop it. Now.
I'm gonna aim my cane towards you.
I do not pay attention to you at all.
Yep. Corey?
Can I, as soon as Kane pulls out the gun, I'm gonna snap, and from her, hundreds of little spiders come out of her hands, and latch onto him, and I'm going to use my momentary stasis to freeze him in time.
As you
Do I make a
try and
save?
freeze,
Con save. I think.
Con
go
save
ahead and get a
16.
Con save. Dandon and John, what are you doing in this split second?
23.
Damn. That's a high
Roll
con
again.
Roll
Oh, she's
again.
using one of her things.
Burning a chronal shift.
No, I'm
Time
gonna use
witch.
silvery barbs.
Save.
So we got-
Funnier.
Funnier.
You're
That's
not.
an 8.
The moment of the stasis like happens, and as it's happening, as Dandon recognizes what's happening and sees, Dandon just again locks eyes with Kane and just kind of like cocks his head to the side, like doesn't really fully get what's going on, but steps directly in front of the gun that is, I'm sure, being pointed, but is now
Yeah.
frozen in stasis.
Can I
And
explain the
John-
momentary stasis
Yep,
once
yeah,
we
go
get the
for it.
chance? The little tiny white spiders crawl out from under her clothes and then parachute towards Kane and begin rapidly wrapping him up in this like cocoon,
Awesome.
keeping everything in its same spot but completely freezing you.
Mhm.
You cannot
And John-
perceive anything outside of the stasis.
You put me in timeout.
Magic spider timeout. John, what are you doing in this split second?
I think obviously the magic that has taken place has already occurred, but John's hammer is out of its sheath and is halfway towards like hooking the gun
Yeah.
before this all occurs, and he just
As these
Puts it
seconds
back.
pass, the momentary stasis fades, and you see that this body coming back into its being floats up off of the ground, only to fall once more. The eyes remain closed. Hoffrey lets out. Odd. A soul taken so soon. Looks at you, Dan, and appearing to have missed this moment of insane
Yeah.
tension.
Because the momentary stasis truly is like a moment. It lasts like 6 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Everything just happens in 6 seconds. Looks over, sees a gun pointed at as you come out of stasis, sees all this tension, looks up at you. Kane. Well, that will hardly be necessary.
I look between him and the body. Right. No need to doubt. And I put the gun away.
Hoffrey looks at you, Dandin. My apologies, if I gave you false hope.
I'm gonna walk over to Dandin, and I'm gonna, like, pull her away from the gun, and I'm gonna get down, like, to her level, and lift one side of the veil, one, colorless, gray eye. Sometimes we can't save everyone.
Dandin doesn't make eye contact. I think Dandin is still kind of staring at Kane, and those frustration tears are still kind of there. And then Dandin just says, "Yeah, but I haven't been able to save anybody." And I just will walk away.
As Hoffrey rises, Eliza's right. This is a conversation to be held inside. Please, all of you, join me in my home. And he begins to head on inside. Kane, stone statues, not giving you much of a choice. You are still very much being
I will
escorted.
follow along. No weapons drawn.
You want us to put our tokens on the on the house map?
On this one, yeah, on the interior. Over here. Oh, and
Over where? Oh, it's just to the side.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh, down there.
down below.
I went every direction but the correct one.
There we go.
Thank you.
Sorry. Re-drag your token into the map. Kane.
Oh,
I did some.
okay, hold on.
I did some tinkering to make sure it was all
Wait.
set up properly. So just where it says Kane, drag that.
There is now 2 John tokens.
What?
Yeah, word.
Where's the other one?
Up in the house, up on the second floor.
Oh, there's a second floor too?
Not anymore.
What the fuck is happening?
Yeah, the ground floor is the one with the forge.
Oh god, there's toe.
There
Look
we
at
go. Look
Kane.
at Kane. Booyah.
I exist.
Look at this party.
Just a murderer, a nun, a child, a dragon.
Awesome.
And a murderer.
And Elias.
I already said a murderer. Oh, a second murderer.
And a murderer.
Just a
And a
murderer.
Whoa.
And a murderer. And a murderer.
And a nun.
And a nun.
As you
Listen, Kyle,
And a
your
child.
reductive stereotypes are getting a you
Joke's on you, the nun's actually the worst one.
the nun is the
Do you
murderer.
want me to
Knew
just be
it.
a murderer?
You guys seen the the nun with a gun mural that's painted outside of Old River City Tattoo? It's my favorite.
As you step inside, you see a well-stocked and maintained, if somewhat cluttered, shop, complete with an attached workshop where Hoffrey is heading, and then you see stairs that lead up to a living space. So you follow Hoffrey into the workshop. There are tables and crates all around, areas for smithing and tinkering. But the area is certainly dominated by this very large forge. Unlike those outside, however, this forge is glowing with like a blue magical light.
Can I tell what
Hoffrey
type of magic it is when I look at it?
Yeah, go ahead and give me an Arcana check. John, you can also give an Arcana check.
24.
Seven.
Corey, you recognize this is a blend of arcane and divine magic. you've just seen Hoffrey cast, a very high level resurrection spell. Clearly some kind of cleric, though is also displaying an affinity for the arcane arts. As you will step inside, some of these stone statues go and stand by the door. This more, again, segmented, floating in different pieces. Red Stone Guardian walks off and returns moments later with tea and biscuits. A little bit cold, perhaps, but some refreshments for you all the same.
I think I've grown accustomed to Elias's tea.
It's hard to beat Elias's tea, and this certainly won't, but it's here all the same.
Corey is paying very little attention and is instead just looking and like gawking at the forge, and she's just like, oh, this puts mine to shame.
You forge?
She indicates to the hammer. I tinker.
Good to see that. Well, the art of working with materials is well and alive in the youth.
Youth.
Back.
That's a little rich.
Just kind of gives you a bit of a look. Corey appears certainly quite young, so this tracks.
Back to the subject in mind. And I look at Kane. So, what must be so important that you're willing to lay your life upon the death of that person?
My life has nothing to do with it. I came to find him. I did. To be fair, I prefer more of a up close and personal confrontation, but well, I'm not a big fan of and he looks directly at Hoffrey. Collateral damage. But I came here and took care of what I need to take care of. And I'd prefer to be on my way sooner than later, but I also don't want to cause any more trouble. I'm sorry y'all had to witness that, and I look at Dandon. Some of you more than others. Wasn't my intention.
But you still haven't explained what gives you the right to kill this one here.
I was told to. There's still a lot of them left.
A mercenary?
No.
No.
Yeah, you say no at the same time.
And I look over at Corey.
Who did you send that to?
The divine end.
Everyone, go ahead and give me a religion check.
This
That's a 7.
wild, bro. 16.
Never heard of this.
22.
Jim.
Int character, bottom text.
So who cleared a 15? Dandon? Dandon and Corey, you got an 18? Gotcha.
22.
22. Very good. Dandon, you have heard this phrase like once or twice back in Marencia when you were talking with some of the other kids, discussing some of the the witch trials that were happening. Someone had been caught and was screaming about the divine end as they got lit up in flame. On a 22, Corey, you read about the Divine End. Yeah, you've heard this name. In a a text discussing alternative religions, alternative religious communities, and let's call it what it is, a cult.
More cults.
The
More
Divine
cults.
End is a cult.
Corey just rubs
Is
her
a
forehead
supposed-
underneath the veil.
Is a cult dedicated to a supposed god of death.
She is the goddess. The Divine End is our goddess.
The Divine End is the goddess of death, of course. And made clear again in this book, very much a cult. There is no backing to any of this. However, the faith of followers of the Divine End remains, on the higher end when it comes to cults. But again,
Like,
completely
equivalent to
Zealous.
Tormac?
perhaps it's hard to say. Like, certainly zealous, yes. The fact that there has been no manifestation of the divine, of this actual goddess of death, somewhat dampens some of the religious zealotry that could occur. So in that instance, Tormac has is very much real.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
maybe
one
that
of-
just makes it even more zealous for the followers that do exist. Of like, all right, we just need to prove our faith, and then this will occur.
Who is the actual god of death in Terra?
And the
There
elder
isn't-
god,
Yeah,
an elder
there-
god who has been lost to space and time.
I thought
Is
so.
there any
Current
Seraph or
Seraph, yeah.
demon that's
Of
even
death?
close?
No, not
No,
really.
I've read that. I've read that handout like
Like,
7 times.
on it, like mercy is adjacent, sacrifice
Yeah.
is perhaps adjacent, but not in the sense that
Yeah.
the divine end
And,
portrays itself as.
And then like Tormac is literally just like brutality.
Yeah, rage and
Rage and war and
bloodshed.
violence. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
Corey very pointedly looks at the back of John's head. Great, now I have to deal with another person who's obsessed with the sanctity of death.
DM, I have a question.
Yep.
Is there any, like, I guess for Dandon's idea of it, it would only be anything that they learned growing up in Nova Solaris or that they heard from people in Merencia, but I think it would more be the Nova Solaris in this instance. In the Imperium, what do people generally think happens when you die?
In the Imperiums, especially, your soul is guided by Imperius, joins the flock of the faithful. Because Nova is gone, they used to join Nova in the sky, specifically the sun. Many think they still are bound for the sun, where they will be reborn when Nova is.
Sure. And then, yeah. But I mean, so then, like, in Merencia, would Dandon have heard, like, other alternate versions of this from, like, anybody, depending on what seraph they were into? Or...
Yeah, exactly. A lot of it is kind of the unifying views of death amongst the Tetrarchy and their seraphs is a lot of kind of like rebirth and cycles. For like Terra, it'll be, you bury the dead, they will decompose, join the earth itself, and metaphysically become a leaf on a tree that is carried off and reborn as another person. That's kind of the vibes.
Okay.
Well, that's something.
Wait, if the divine... Wait.
So what did he do to earn it?
He lost the faith.
Sounds a little I don't know, predatory, doesn't it?
Kane shifts, and he does so very intentionally, so his hand brushes that pouch that he put the medallion in, and you hear what you can only assume is a lot of medallions shift in that pouch.
Wait,
They
so
knew
you
what they were
are
getting into.
you are directed by divine guidance to slaughter all of those who have lost the faith in your goddess.
Yes, ma'am.
By said
simply.
goddess,
That's right.
can you hear said goddess?
In ways.
Oh, what is with this plane and their obsession with gods? Corey rubs her head against the door frame of the floor.
I mean, if you don't mind me asking, and he just nods to your general attire. Are you not also a member of the faith as well, of some kind?
She lifts her veil and pulls it back, and underneath you can see two very curled horns up her head. That is what is holding this veil up. Her canines and incisors are both on either side of her jaw are sharp. She is a tiefling. And just looks at you, and in the same tongue that you spoke to the body before, I guess that's up for you to decide.
And he responds in Abyssal, well, you certainly sound like you serve the divine.
Stop that. Because I presume that just sounds like.
Yeah, it's not a pretty language.
Yeah.
Quite guttural.
Right. Well, Hoffrey, what do you want to do with him?
We could encase him in all that metal he has in his pocket. That forge is hot enough.
It certainly is, but I do not think that will be necessary. I think that enough blood has been spilled today.
No, I didn't say anything about spilling blood.
Well, enough death has come here today. And as long as there won't be any further problems, I see no need to make an issue.
I just want to be clear. I have nothing against any of you. I came here for a reason, and I'd like to leave. If it's all the same to you.
When you say that, go ahead and give me a religion check.
Why do I keep rolling this dice? 5.
You feel very nauseous, a pang of nausea.
Is it from my person or someone else?
You do not see any sign of a spell being cast on you.
I'm trying to leave, I promise.
Are we still under the effects of Zonosaurus?
Oh,
Yeah.
no, that has faded.
Bold of you to assume I was ever under the effects.
Yeah, weird. Yeah, some people had just passed. But you've left that area. I don't think it follows Offrey, so Henny hasn't bothered recasting it. Well, when you do leave, stranger, make sure that you never return.
Wasn't planning on it. Again, sorry about the mess.
Nods at you. The stone sentinels by the door step aside, and the path for you is clear ahead.
And just nods at all of you, and turns around and starts heading out.
Kane departs the forge.
Bethany gets a mental command to kick the motherfucker into the tree line if he tries to touch the cart.
Yeah,
No desire to touch the cart.
A
Uh,
spectral mage hand floats out.
Oh, gotcha. Cool. We will get to that in a second as Kane departs. Hoffrey looks at you. After seeing Kane leave, you see a bit of a sigh of relief. Apologies, all of you, that our meeting had to be tainted in that way, but I do believe introductions are in order, though perhaps not from everyone here. And you see, he looks at you, Elias, and steps forward and holds out a hand for a good, forearm grasping handshake. Elias, it is good to see you.
You
You
as well.
are looking well.
Not so. But
You see Hoffrey's eyes flash as he kind of mutters something and looks at you again. Mm. Well, all the same, you stand here before me. As always, my abode is your refuge. Please, though, introduce me to your intriguing traveling companions. I've never known you to be one for partners on the road.
it is rather good to see you again. But these are my companions.
Points at John.
John here as
Elias and I are old co-workers, I
you
suppose.
could say that.
We have worked in much medicine together.
Points at Corey.
Choose your words nicely, Elias.
This here is Coralia. She is, as you've noticed, an inventor of sorts and dabbles in wizardry.
Dabbles is putting it lightly. Witchery
And
is a better term.
all I know is that you're good at it, and
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet.
the child is
Dandin.
Well,
I'm Dandin.
Brandon, Coralia, and John, it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I am Hoffrey Ghostforge, at your service. Please have some more tea.
Rough.
Is there any way we can heat it up?
He just kind of gestures to the forge, which is still glowing faintly.
Corey,
Don't worry, all of the cups are enchanted.
from under her veil, Corey rolls her eyes and then just walks over to the tea kettle and starts pouring it as she prestidigitates it hot.
I would love to cut.
Sorry, go ahead. You lead it, Elias. Go for it.
I would love to catch up and hear more about your research, but we are here on important urgency. There's a Warforge that's probably a couple days away from us. That's
Oh,
hunting us. You know of the August Training Company?
Yes, of course I'm familiar with it. And you see, he's kind of just points at a crate. You see, like, Augustine Trading Company logo, like, stamped on the side. Oh, who isn't?
I just give him a nod, like a knowing nod. But
Oh,
You could possibly say we might have stolen a piece of their cargo. Not willingly.
and I forgot where
Uh,
in the body was the shards embedded.
They're all in
in
our
our
heads.
head.
that's all in your heads, yeah.
Right.
all right, listen, we have a mutual tomb, and there's a really good chance that you might be able to help us.
Benedict Alabaster Pembrose wants to break our heads open and take a rock out of
The rock has an old friend of yours in it.
He probably
Uh,
didn't want I.
You hear in all of your heads, do you want me to take it from here? Or...
it. No,
No.
Should we just say it out loud, or you told us
the
to kinda...
Chancellor.
He refers to himself very arrogantly as the Chancellor
See,
or
like,
the
in the
benefactor.
middle of taking a sip, the cup puts the teacup down. A chancellor. You say?
Yeah.
Takes out his
He's-
pipe.
He said that you wouldn't be very comfortable with talking about it.
Look, he was in a rock, and the rock blew up, and the rock's in our heads, and the Augustine Trading Company wants to crack our heads open like omelets and take the rocks out, and we don't want that. We want the rock out of our head.
Yeah, that.
But
That's
for
perfectly.
our heads to remain
And
on
That's
our
the
Alright.
bodies.
shorter version of it.
He said
Yep.
that
That was the best version of it. It was really good.
he said that you owed, or he said that he owed you a favor, and we thought, I don't know, maybe we could do a favor for you, and you could get it out of our heads.
We do request that favor not be inciting a civil war, like the last people tried to get us to do.
That's what they wanted to do.
Absolutely.
No
Oh,
wonder
it's a
we
good
locked
thing.
that ferry in a bag.
That is why I locked the ferry in the bag.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm afraid I'm not certain I recall any chancellor. No,
Damn.
much of what you're saying.
Inside check.
Also in.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
He's a cleric. He doesn't have good charisma.
And you can do so with advantage, Elias.
Ooh, hot. 25.
15.
9.
Double 19.
Huffrey rolled a 3.
Woof.
Very clearly lying. So very clearly lying. is still just like staring intently at all of you. He knows he's lying, and I think he knows that he's not a good liar, so
Mhm.
he's just trying to see if you guys are gonna like keep
Listen,
at this bone.
listen,
But
Chum.
friend.
Go ahead.
What words that Gristle made up?
No, Chum's a good word. He actually has a lot of good words. It's
goblin?
yes, it is. It's Goblin for friend, and it's what the Chancellor prefers we call him. Because we didn't want to call him the Chancellor or the Benefactor, because those are stupid names. And you and I both know they're stupid names because you know who I'm talking about.
He doesn't know his own name anymore, if that makes you feel any better.
Or he's lying about that.
Or he's lying about that.
No.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
He's not.
You call him Chum.
Chumbada, specifically.
Yeah, it's so when we talk out loud accidentally, nobody thinks that we're talking about anyone specific or that we're insane. It kind of just sounds like you're talking about a friend.
And is he?
A friend?
An annoyance.
A passenger.
An unwanted one.
A very nosy one.
A very nosy one.
Looking
He-
at you again, Elias. Go ahead.
He has. He's kind of saved our lives a couple of times, though, but I think that's mostly just because he doesn't want the pieces of the rock to, be taken by other people.
I can't
But he has
imagine he would.
Yeah.
And you, Elias.
Look, Brent. Got myself in another situation. Chum says you and two of his other colleagues might be able to help us.
Might.
Goro and Kira. Figures.
You were the
Figures would
closest
try
one.
that. Lucky me.
You don't have to help us. The only thing that we request is that if anyone comes knocking, you don't point them in the direction of us. And I
Well-
know, as someone of magical prowess as yourself, that the Theurge probably keep a pretty close eye on you, if you are not a part of them.
Isn't he a member?
That's to say he still is a member.
Oh, right.
The
Are you
Theurge,
still
I
a
believe,
member?
the Theurge, I believe, doesn't know, and that's why Benny Boy is trying so hard to get us back.
They
But
said
that's conjecture on my part.
he said that. Didn't he say he was gonna sell the rock to the Theurge anyway?
I
Yep.
think he was transporting it.
Well, he was selling it. He was definitely getting money from it.
Who
Well, he was
doing
getting
this?
money to transport it.
The trading company, the Pembrose, Pembadoo.
Benedict Augustine Pemberton.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was paid to transport it. And where did Gristle say they got it from? Like up north?
Specifically the third, just to clarify.
What?
The one we're dealing with is the third Benedict Augustinius Pemberton.
Right.
He's not the first one.
Whatever one's alive right now.
And he said that he was selling it to the Theurge.
He was transporting it to them. That's who he
Definitely
said.
selling it.
Yeah,
Is
that's
where the box was going. Yes,
Yeah, that's who he said was
with the Ioun Stone.
expecting it.
There was some dwarves that we got into an immediate tussle with.
They
They wanted it very badly.
And then the Auto Industries bots. I don't know if they wanted it, but they definitely wanted to kill us for some reason.
Maybe we forgot to pay the sleeping tax.
And ironically, all of those people are now sailing up the rivers to Chernold.
And to top it all off, Pemberton just made a deal with the Imperium. And they're letting them sail into Morencia, and they're sailing up and down the coast with Inquisitors, and they're looking for us too.
Who told you this?
His name was Mr. Fortunato. Luca Fortunato. He's a businessman there. He helped us get out of the city.
Put us in fish barrels.
The fish was comfortable once you got yourself situated.
No,
on
it
properly.
wasn't. No, it wasn't.
I think you just all weren't using the fish to your advantage.
I think that you have gotten blown up and passed out one too many times from being blown up, and you are now comfortable with sitting in fish.
I think the fish got me a very
If
nice
I may-
sword, and
If I may step in here. Could I have a word with Elias?
sure.
Okay.
Please,
Boop.
feel free to stay the night if you wish to seek a room upstairs, you are more than welcome. If you want to go outside, I'm uncertain if that gunslinger will return, so watch yourself.
Lol.
But I must talk with Elias. Cool. As all of this is happening, Kane, you have walked out.
I would like to say that as soon as I see the horse,
Yep.
Kane has stopped for a solid 2 minutes to just stare at this horse from about 15 feet away, because it is
Horse.
giant and he is just staring at it. He doesn't really know what to do. He's just
And the
staring at this
horse
horse.
is staring directly back at you. Every now and then, like, goes down to munch on some grass, but maintains eye contact the entire time.
Kane is just fascinated by this horse. He's also scared of it. It's huge.
You and Corey have something in common.
And after like 2 minutes of staring at this horse, I will give it a wide berth and continue on my way.
As you're staring at this horse, this mage hand, what's it doing?
Yeah.
Little softly glowing spectral mage hand just kind of following behind. And as soon as
Stop it.
Kane comes to a standstill, it's going to go right up by his side, unloop the thing with all the amulets in it, and just carry it away.
Hey, can you go ahead and give me a sleight of hand check?
Yep.
Using your spell casting modifier instead of your dex, so you can keep
Okay.
proficiency but use your charisma instead of your dex.
Got it. That's higher.
Can I make a perception check, or
And
is it
you
against
can
my...
make a perception check?
Okay.
Yes,
It's still night, right?
it is still night.
Yeah, I can't make my mage
8
hand
o'clock.
invisible. I'm not an arcane trickster. This.
Yes.
Oh, so then also a stealth check, please, Dandon.
Got it. So the first roll was for the sleight of hand, which is let's see. Plus.
I got a 23.
So the sleight of hand is 24.
So on,
Yes.
on the sleight of hand, you detach this little pouch of amulets.
And would
And
you
what's the
like me
stealth
to
check?
would you like to use me to use my spell modifier for
Yeah,
my stealth
yeah.
as well?
Yeah.
That is
Trying to beat a 23, you said?
on stealth. Oh, I don't. Okay, that's. And I still have my proficiency, so that becomes. Where did it go? There we go. Ooh, it's a 21 on stealth.
So the bag of amulets gets lifted, and you notice.
Yeah, it's heavy. It's been a while.
Yep.
Kane immediately drops his gun and turns around.
It's just a little golden hand just floating away.
I just grab it.
Yeah, go ahead and give a contested athletics, or this is like a grapple, essentially. You're grappling with
Against
this.
the mage hand's strength?
Yeah, against the mage hand's strength, which is probably very low.
Well,
Oh.
so is mine.
Yeah.
Does the mage hand have to use strength?
Mage hand can use acrobatics is the problem, yes.
Is the problem.
So it's against my athletics?
Yeah,
Against
you
your
can roll
athletics.
athletics.
So 15.
15.
Can I use
Yeah,
my
I
acrobatics?
don't- No, you don't beat me. I got a 6.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
You
15.
swipe it back.
Kane is so confused between this giant horse and this floating hand, and the fact that
Flips you
so
off.
so much has happened in like 20 minutes.
Yeah, after quite some time on the road of people, as soon as they kind of clock your vibe, giving you a wide berth, parents pushing the children behind them as they go by.
Usually this all goes so smoothly. All right.
Flipping you off still.
Yeah.
Doesn't
The consequences.
I want you
Light
to
accents.
imagine. I want you to imagine how many amulets are in the bag, and the fact that I am not in jail.
Go ahead and give me a Constitution saving throw.
Fuck. Well, I used all my good rolls on those because that's a natural one.
Lol.
You
So
feel
5.
as you go to turn and walk away again, an even more intense pang of nausea hits you, and you retch.
Blah.
Do we walk out right as he's puking?
Yes.
Your horse scared me so bad.
Oh, Choom's got a guilty conscience.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
you hear it in your head, John from Bethany. "Mm. Look at this one, puking before my majesty."
He shows weakness, Bethany.
Yes, he
The
does.
horse is gonna eat me.
She's
Maybe.
thinking about it.
The mage hand
I don't
stops
know.
flipping you off and goes back and just fits like a glove right onto Dandon's hand and just
I am-
disappears.
Not paying attention to any of you because I'm probably facing the opposite way.
Yeah.
Yep.
But Kane is full on just talking to himself in abyssal. Just, all right, I did it. I know it wasn't exactly like it usually goes down, but he's dead. He didn't come back to life. We got the amulet. I sent him to you. What do you want?
Dandon, what do you do?
I give her a tiny little stiletto, or I give him a tiny little stiletto stab in the leg.
Fucking kidding me. Kane once again turns around and pulls his gun.
Stop
as
talking
you-
like that. It's weird.
And
As you go to pull your gun, Kane, you feel not your trigger hand, your
both are my
other
trigger
hand.
hands.
Yeah, word, eh?
My other trigger hand.
Your left hand lunges up and points directly at Coralia before you feel
Oh,
the pins and needles tingling sensation fade and your hand drops.
Corey and John are standing outside of the house, passing a pipe between the two of them, and just watching you retch.
you watch me throw up, talk to myself, get stabbed by a child.
The getting stabbed by a child was unpreventable on our part. He came from the door behind us and walked up to stab you in
they were
about
always-
an eighth of a
I don't-
second.
I don't have the map up, I guess. I probably should have put me somewhere. It's fine. And just, I guess that makes sense, doesn't it?
Do I notice him just?
I full on point at you.
It's not a stealthy
Okay.
point, no.
Oh, seems you've been chosen for the next divine end.
I'm gonna just
He's
shove
probably
his
gonna try to
face.
shoot you.
I turn and I look and I look back saying, "Stop that."
No,
Not you.
stop shivving people.
No, I tell Kane to stop pointing at Coralia.
Why are you pointing at me? And why are you hunting people? Really?
I told you why
And
already, and it seems. And he kind of reaches up and he's wearing the medallion that he took off of the body. He's wearing a similar one, which now that you're a bit closer, you can see more clearly. Is it's not quite as big as like a full holy symbol, but it's decent size. Depicts a rough outline of a skull with the jaw appearing to be broken off to the side and a large spike through it.
Terrifying.
And he's kind of fiddling with it. It seems she's taken an interest in you.
no, that seems to be a theme.
No.
And Kane, I will say, in the past when a target has been selected or someone, the hand that does the pointing, if there's pointing involved, is very important. You've pointed with your left hand at like a contact who would give you a discount on like a horse.
The
or
right
somebody
hand
to
is the
help you.
killing hand.
Yeah, exactly. The right hand is the killing hand. The left hand is the working hand. You're going to work with this person.
Red right hand starts playing in the background.
Choom.
And I'm a little busy right now, Curly. I'm trying to pay attention to what Elias and
Give
Hafri
them
are
some
talking about.
privacy. Please.
What is it?
Why does this man keep having a response to me?
How the fuck would I know that? I've
Because
never
you've
met
been
this
alive
guy.
longer than I have. I
Let's
might have read
hear
more
her
books.
talking.
No, there are.
Right?
She's like
Oh, it's in her
staring
head.
at you,
Brain
Uh,
talk.
but
Every
you
now and
can't.
then, like a small movement of the mouth, but largely internalized. Yeah.
Kind of snarls, like a sneer on one side of her mouth, showing those sharp teeth again before, like she seems to be
Yeah.
conflicted with something.
Listen, that poor chap is clearly confused. The Divine End is a bunch of hooey.
Well, I know that.
If I had the time or the means, I would go about fully disproving this hoax, but I think we've got more pressing matters to contend with, Coralia.
Go away.
Very well. I shall go back to doing what I said I wanted to do anyways.
Well, if you're planning on using me for whatever it is that your divine end wants, it sounds like you're going to be stuck following us.
Does appear that way.
And again, Kane, this is like not that strange for you. Like once you finish a job, you find one of the heretical non-believers. It's not very long before you are sent off on the next quest by the Divine End. I mean, this is a little bit quicker perhaps, but you've been
Jeez.
through things like this before.
So you're just keeping me busy.
Do I know? Do I have any concept as to why this would be happening? Because, I mean,
No idea.
Okay.
No idea.
I feel like
Not
I
a
chose
clue.
the wrong
Oh.
day to be wearing my uniform.
Right, well, you don't get to ride on the wagon.
You're getting poked again now, Kane.
Hold on. I got two of them.
Dandon, if you get shot, you deserve it.
And as soon as Kane turned around and saw this was a child who stabbed him, his right arm just kind of dropped. He has no interest in shooting Dandon at the moment.
Dandon,
Yeah.
stop.
That might change.
Stop. Stop stabbing the man with the gun. You remember
Let
that
me
thing
see
we
one
said
of the
about guns?
medallions.
Sorry.
Let me see one of the medallions.
Shrugs and he reaches into the bag and kind of rustles around. He pulls out a few and looks at them, and you can see a couple of them still have blood on them, and he puts those away. And all right.
Here.
Put it back.
Are they bad people?
Then that's a really subjective question. You're
I know
not
what
you're
I
not gonna get
asked.
into. All right.
Kane's face has never changed, but he is clearly like thinking about what to tell you. They're not
Yeah.
good. None of us are. And sometimes decisions are made, orders must be carried out.
Men and your gods. Everyone's is more
Goddess.
important than the next. Divines, is that better? Does that fit
Goddess.
the concept?
The divine end, or you may call her Danya. Either way.
Danya?
Danya.
Do I recognize that name? God.
Danya was listed.
Okay,
in
it
the
is like asterisk Danya.
text that you read.
Her name is Danya. She
Do-
is called the divine end.
Do I-
Danja, right?
Yeah, sounds right.
Danya. Oops, that's not how you spell anything. Danya.
Do
I want to see what you typed the first time.
since
since I have the sage background,
Mhm.
if there's any information that I in myself don't keenly know, I know how to find it.
Yep.
So, do I know where I would go to find out more information about this? Because there's
Yes, you would
Back-
join the cult.
well,
You're looking at him.
Other information on like the stuff that you studied and read is the widely known and even like researched information. There was a researcher who did that, who like went and joined the cult and then never wrote anything else after, which is perhaps telling. Yeah, you were kind of looking at the next best source if you didn't actually want to join the cult yourself.
After asking the questions and giving the medallion back, Dandon just pauses one more time and asks Kane, are the other members of your cult the only people that you're hunting? And
What the-
I'm going to cast Friends to try and convince you to tell me the truth on this.
Do I make a save, or are we just
No,
friends?
it's just I have advantage on persuading you.
Oh. At the moment, yes.
Okay. I turn around and I walk back over to Coralia and John. And I stop and I look at them and say, he's gonna be really mad at me in like a minute, so I'm gonna go over there. And I just keep walking a little ways away.
You said that the people you hunt are those that lost faith.
That's right.
How do you mean?
They turned their back on our goddess, our temple, our beliefs, everything that we are. They abused what we were and twisted it to fit their own needs.
Hmm.
They've been doing it for a while, and finally Danya got tired of it. And I guess I did too.
Go ahead and give me a history check, Coralia.
Yes, God. I like those int buttons. They are my favorite buttons to press.
Oh, I miss my wizard sometimes.
History?
Yeah.
It's gonna be so high.
Tarnish 20.
You recall a small blurb from the text on the Divine End. There were some who postulated that the Divine End, this culty religion, sure had a lot of involvement with crime, with, we'll say, alternative revenue incomes and streams.
Like being a hired assassin. I'm not part of this conversation, never mind.
Like being a hired assassin or a mercenary?
There was a lot of money going, like, kind of moving through and around this church, this religion. Which, again, they insist, it's not a cult. We worship
We
the
are a
gods of
church.
death. We are and in fact, a registered religion.
I think only in Astoria, that nowhere else.
Yeah.
Corey will, like, softly, to John next to her, just...
Well, at least Tormac had the decency to get shit done and not just go wherever they were paid to.
and she'll just start stepping forward, and walking towards Kane.
Well, you have a lot of information to tell me and a lot of time to do it, so let's get started.
What do you want to know?
And we're going to cut there. Back inside to Elias. As your companions depart, Hoffrey looks at you. It is good to see you again, friend. I feared I might not. But I would be lying if I said that your current companions and this situation you found yourself in is, well, it's not a good one.
No. But the situation we find ourselves in, the kid doesn't deserve it. And if you can help, I would owe you a debt.
You know as well as I do, Elias, that I came out here to try and help. I'd be a hypocrite if I turned my back on those in need, even if it is personally awkward to do so. So I will help you. But I will urge you to tread carefully when dealing with your Choom. I've known him for a long time, and well, your friend John is probably on the right track there. If he's helped you at all, I doubt it's for a selfless reason.
I never thought it was for a selfless reason. He has his goals, but right now, getting these shards out of our heads aligns with his.
How can I block Choom out for a second?
Yeah, go ahead and give me your choice of a mental saving throw, so intelligence, wisdom, or charisma.
I'll take the wisdom.
Oh,
Well, damn.
You have inspiration?
I do that. Do I reroll? Are you gonna take this?
It'll be the other roll.
Yeah.
Sorry, I misspoke. Not saving throw, a check.
I'll check. Guess that's the Jack 3.
Cool. All right, so 13. Yeah, you in your head start to imagine some of the sound, some distracting noise and thoughts and experiences, right? Your time on the road, the wind blowing through the trees, a stream burbling over by rocks, and you are somewhat successful. I think you think, though, that Choom might still hear some of what you say.
That's fine.
your relationship with him. Much, and since the man himself does not know much about himself, you're shedding some light.
Elias, you know that I trust you. I respect you. There are things about your tomb that I cannot tell you. For your own sake and for mine. I'll say that I call him Chancellor, for I studied under him once, many years ago. And while I learned plenty, I learned most of all that not every offer of assistance is a genuine one. And that there is always a cost. And also that he is a petty soul. And you see Hoffrey's like lips practically curling here. Again, largely a pretty calm and collected dwarf is clearly, in reflection on these memories, is very irritated. Not a fan at all of the Chancellor. Perhaps it'll be easier to show you. And you see he walks over to his main workbench and pulls out a drawer and starts rummaging around. And he pulls out a tome, a book, and hands it over to you. Why don't you read that? Read the cover of that there. And you see that it is titled, drop this in the chat. I'll do it in Discord actually. It reads Eschatological Soul Manipulation and Transposition, a brief primer by the Chancellor, Tavo of Pravia, and all of Pendergaze. It's published by the Thayrage Press in 2765 ME Mortal Era.
Eve, have you heard of Tavo and Olive?
These names have not been said or read before.
What is the present year in Mortal Era?
$29.65.
2973.
2965.
Right now?
Yes.
200 years ago.
200 years ago. That's crazy.
Damn!
Oh yeah, 299.75.
Yeah. He's mentioned soul manipulations and is that why he's in that zone?
It's a great primer. It's a shame that they forgot a name.
Yeah.
He was left out of the group project.
So they took the credit for all the research you contributed.
He kind of gives you a nod.
In my head, Jim, I know you're listening. Is that true?
You hear manifested crickets. Listen, I told you that you might be pissed. And, maybe Hoffrey came to me and asked me to oversee some research, and maybe I knew that a junior researcher like himself would never. Listen, I don't need to explain myself to you. It's years ago. The fact that he's digging this up is, frankly, quite ridiculous. Live in the moment, Hoffrey. Live in the moment. But
What would you do if it was done to you? Your life's work.
oh, I would move heaven and earth, Elias. The realm would shake with my fury. But this is me we're talking about.
His anger is not unjustified, then.
Well, okay. Listen, you know what you have to do. Get him on our side. And...
Why
go
don't
ahead and give me
you,
a persuasion check, Elias. As
Okay.
you're talking to Chum here. You're gonna make Jacob yell at you to go get your physical dice.
I can't even roll them. It's too noisy.
Yeah, all good.
Too noisy.
Listen, Hoffrey and I have history. Yes, there are things I could bring up about him, but for the sake of all of us, for the sake of progress, moving forward.
You're going to apologize to him.
For the sake of moving forward, I will apologize. As you have gone quiet for these few moments here, Hoffrey's looking at you. You're talking to him, aren't you?
He's contemplating what he's done to you.
As I said, this is just one example.
From what we know, are stone statues somewhat sentient?
Oh, go ahead and give me. I think Arcana fits the bill best here. You can do so with advantage because of your time with Hoffrey. Perhaps it came up in conversation.
Oh my god.
Jeez.
Jesus Christ.
You remember Hoffrey mentioning one time something about it? Mentioning like an infusion, but not much other than that.
Is there some way for you to communicate with him?
I mean, yeah, there is, Elias.
That's the only way.
I mean, I don't think you're gonna convince Karalia or Dandon or John to do it, so... And I mean, you're here, so... Hey, listen, it doesn't have to be for long. I'll just say my piece and, mosey on out of there.
Do you know the state that my body is in?
Speaking to...
Jum.
Jum? Yeah, you're pretty fucked up, Elias. Yeah, I might have done some snooping one time when you were sleeping and I was bored. Uh, I'm saying that, just so we're fully transparent and you can trust me moving forward. Yeah, you're kind of fucked up.
Avery,
Yes.
I am speaking with Chum, and I can let him briefly speak with you through me. Is that something that you're okay with?
No, Elias, I am not okay with that. I think that this is troubling to hear. Troubling that you would offer this. Tell the Chancellor that. Tell the Chancellor that. I will do this, not for him, but for you, for the kid.
I nod.
Would
Thank you, friend.
Of course. Would you bring your friends back in here?
Okay.
Cool. Awesome. With that, folks, let's take a quick little break and go fill up some water, and then we will reconvene with everyone back in.
I'd like to.
Grimpunk.
All right.
You don't even know about the book yet.
I would like it.
As Elias steps out then to retrieve the companions, what are you all doing in this instant? We had a conversation underway.
Yeah, Corey had just.
Why does your goddess think that I'm important to you?
Well, she doesn't always give the most clear instruction. It's more of a generalization, like, hey, that, pay attention. And then I sometimes gotta put pieces together.
You're not an inherently bright man, are you?
Define bright.
It answers my question.
I feel like you're hey, real quick. What's your name?
Coralia.
Kane, pleasure to meet you. I feel like that's an important first step.
It's about this time that, Kane, you realize that I cast magic to try to influence you to tell me the truth, and you're really mad about it.
Do I have to be mad about it?
You don't have. I don't think you have to be mad about it.
I'm not
What
going to
is the
force you
spell?
to become mad. It
Yeah.
just, it kind of suggests that, if you discover someone's affecting your emotions, you probably won't be happy.
It
Hey,
just
like,
says, it says becomes hostile, but you're a PC, so
you are already stabbing me, so
Yeah.
I feel like we're at a level. Kane kind of stops in the middle of the conversation, looks at you. Can we try to start over?
probably for the best.
He holds out a hand. I'm Kane, and you are?
Dandin.
Fair enough. Pleasure to meet you. And I look at John.
There's a faith somewhere out there that says something about someone named Cain, and I can't remember it. And she kind of looks lost for a minute.
That's John.
Mighty well armed.
It is my form of worship.
I respect that.
Welcome to the weird religious group. You're gonna fit in.
At this point, Elias
Fantastic.
walks out.
They adopted the assassin.
I'm not an assassin.
I think by definition you just assassinated a guy. So
I think
It
and
was
the fact
an
that you have a belt.
It was an
full of-
execution, not an assassination.
What's the difference?
That's a
One has a
semantics.
judge, a jury, a sentence, and an executioner.
Joffrey is waiting for us inside.
That place was cool. I'm going back.
He's willing to help us.
Yes.
Kane,
Hmm.
who is the judge and the jury?
Who do you think? And he kind of is playing with the medallion again.
I think he named his guns judge, jury, and executioner.
The guns don't need names.
They
They are perfect on their own.
Don't guns inherently have names?
Every weapon should have a name. Otherwise, it's just a piece of metal and wood.
What is your weapons' names?
That's a great question.
We don't like to talk about that one. And the other two are.
That one?
We're working on them.
You all follow Elias inside.
Oh yeah. Saying this as he walks inside.
Kane is
Stands
kind of
up.
hanging in the back.
Yeah, Kane, as you walk in, you see Joffrey just kind of looks at you.
Things have changed.
Yeah, we had just gotten used to each other and there were no more awkward silences, but now there's gonna be more. It's gonna be great.
Hey, Hoffer, do you have any liquor?
I do. And I'll start like
I knew I liked you for a reason.
If I may, before the liquor comes out. Elias,
Joffrey can see
What you
Corey's
like.
like whole arm is in her chest.
just doesn't bat an eye. I have agreed to take a look at you and see what I can do. And I would prefer to do it while we are all still sober.
Well, I'll work on that.
If you would be so kind, and kind of gestures for you all to just sit down in the like a half circle around this forge.
I will use 5 uses of my lay on hands to remove this high from myself because he requested we be sober. And I will offer. I can clear it up if you need me to.
You really think that your opium is enough to get a wizard high?
Probably.
Yes, you're tiny.
You see that Corey has like a straight face, but she is swaying gently.
That's probably for the best.
He's going to, I will place a hand upon her upper back, and you will be removed of this afflicting poison. Quote unquote.
I have a horrible headache.
You don't. It feels kind of like somebody just poured water through your veins. It's cold water for sure, but
So like you're getting a saline drip?
Ow.
yeah.
So,
She like shivers.
how is this procedure gonna work? What do you need us to do?
Before I or before we start talking about any procedures, I want to just take a look at you all and try and understand what we're dealing with here. And proceeds to, in fact, start to check you out. Goes over to all of you, examines your heads, asks for your help kind of identifying where this shard was. Yeah, it's back of the head, some foreheads. Again, have all pierced through your skull and lodged deep within your head, in your brain. And starts just examining first, just like physically, checking, focusing on the head to begin with, but moving down to the neck, body, and examining all of your physical condition. Spends about 15 minutes doing this on all of you. And then you see he goes over to a bench and grabs a pair of like spectacles with crystal lenses that's set in them, and murmurs an incantation. They start to glow, and he begins another examination. This time, not physically interacting with you, but just peering at you all. And then making some notes. Moving on to the next.
Every time he turns around, I'm a different person.
No reaction from Hoffrey whatsoever as you were doing this. Perhaps, a little bit annoying to you.
Yeah.
Expecting to get some kind of reaction or rise out of him, but appears to almost be seeing through them. After about another 15 minutes of 30 minutes of this examination, Hoffrey takes off the spectacles and sets down his notes. Well, here is what we're working with. These shards of this ion stone of containment are lodged deep within your craniums. It would be extremely dangerous to surgically remove them. But the shard's physical presence is not my only concern. The magic of the shard is what is really concerning to me here. The stone of containment was created by Martorius. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of him, but the self-stylized Arch-Abjurer Supreme, while somewhat arrogant, is an apt title. Martorius knows his craft well. These stones, these shards, contained the Chancellor, but not the body or the mind, but the soul. Tell me, what do you know about souls?
What did he ask?
What do you know about souls?
Corey visibly straightens and tightens her grip on her own hands from where she's sitting.
I'm not a studious man.
Not perhaps unsurprising, it is a not oft-studied subject, despite, well, the importance of it in this moment. A soul is the metaphysical essence of existence. It is beinghood coalesced within. Every being in these lands possesses a soul. It's a spark of free will, some say, the flames of emotion and passion that separates mortal life from the rocks we stand upon, the trees that surround us. When a mortal is born in Terra, their soul is lit like a newly kindled flame. And as they grow, so too does their soul, its flame growing stronger and hotter. And when they die, their body fractures, and that soul is released as a spirit. Now, a priestly man might tell you that the spirit is judged then and shepherded by the arch-seraphs or by the fiends and carried to realms above or below, so that the virtuous are rewarded and the wicked punished. And Kane, this is all just super triggering for you to hear. Not, definitely not the way that the dead are, Danya is handling this. This is sacrilegious to hear.
Kane is sitting cross-legged up on the counter and has been ignoring everything up until this point, and
Yeah.
is just kind of leaned forward.
Yeah. My particular research has long been interested in the fate of a soul after death, in the summoning of spirits and their properties, and more recently in the effect that the beast has on one's soul. I believe if we want to properly treat and perhaps one day eradicate its aberrant influence, and we need a better understanding of the soul. Souls can be reinforced or purified, perhaps, using, and you see here he's kind of like starting to sift through some of the papers that are just on his desk that he was working on before, like a modification of Nistel's magic aura combined with, and just looks up and realizes where he is. Apologies, I'm getting off topic here. The point is, when these shards became lodged in your heads, when they pierced through you, it should have killed you outright. But they didn't.
You have a theory as to why.
Knowing the Chancellor, yes, I do. Knowing what was contained within this shard. I think that when the shards fractured, the stone of containment was disrupted and the Chancellor's soul within was stirred. And as they pierced your head, might have acted out of instinct. His soul might have sought to protect his body, he thought, or his bodies in this case, and shielded you from the harm. Of course, the consequence of this would be the connection between the Chancellor and all of your souls. I see he drinks his tea, looks at it, looks at all of you, reaches into his coat, takes out a little flask and pours some booze in there, and then just hands the flask over to you, John.
It's gone in one down.
I meant for that to go around the circle, but you see, he goes into his table and takes out another flask and hands it over.
He just passes it along.
I don't think I need to tell you that for there to be two souls in one body is not ideal. In fact, it's rather unheard of. There's been plenty of conjecture and theoretical discussion around it. The Chancellor himself wrote extensively on the subject, you'll be happy to know. The general consensus, in theory, though, is that in an instant such as this, the stronger soul will prevail. Will absorb the lesser soul in that process.
The reason
So we're
why
fine, right? Because he's like an 86th of a soul in each of us.
But he inhabits each of us.
That's why hasn't taken over as yet. He's divided.
If it were any other soul on these shards, I would not worry. Well, I would be worried, but the Chancellor is, despite being fractured as he is possesses a strong soul. Very strong indeed.
But one soul can't inhabit multiple bodies. It would have to choose one of us.
It's not a matter of choice. It is just an action that will happen. This process has begun. And even if the Chancellor were a benevolent soul, did not wish for this to happen, it has already begun.
What if he transfer his soul to a new body?
That would be the best case scenario. But soul transference is even more of a theoretical field. It is one fraught with ethical concerns, but more than that, with the practical side of it. Now, I am versed in soul manipulation and primarily with spirits, and if I thought I could do this for you, I would. I do not think I am strong enough to do this, though.
What if you had someone to tell you how to do it?
Say that again.
What if you had someone to tell you how to do it?
You know this thing.
Yes.
Who are you?
Corey will lift her veil and
My name is Coralia von Tark. I studied necromancy at the sanctuary. And I learned not only how to transfer a soul from one body to the next, but how to rewrite it. I've only done it once.
What happened? Did it work?
Yes. But at great cost.
Where are they now? If we can examine them and your notes, we will need.
There is a town on the edge of Astoria named Rivea that anywhere within 100 miles of it has been frozen in time for the last 20 years.
You see Hoffrey cocks his head. Go ahead and everyone give me an insight check.
As Corey has been talking, Kane is fully
24.
sitting up and just staring at her.
24 for John.
I'm shaking.
Also,
9.
You're goddamn right, Jacob. I fucking love this music.
The second this came on, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I know which one he chose. Because I'm like, is it going to be the Emperor or is it going to be Johnny? The Emperor or Johnny? I know he's going to pick one of them.
It's a 9 for Kane.
9 for Kane. High for John. What did we get for Dandin, Elias?
21.
21. Okay. 21 as well?
23.
High for everyone but Kane.
I'm just staring at Corey.
Yeah, you are zoned out, focused on Corey. The rest of you, Offrey has heard of this incident. This is familiar to him. Yeah.
Never mind. I thought about it more.
As someone who is from Astoria, do I know about this?
No.
Ah, okay.
No, this is very much kept under wraps.
God, Astoya's fucking popular in our backstories. Jesus Christ.
Dude, you have no idea.
Akralia looks down at her hands that are stained blue. I severed myself from the ability to cast magic when I did that. I now have to search others' souls for moments in time where they produced the same type of power.
You severed or you were severed?
I was.
You did not mean to.
No. I did it to keep my husband from killing my daughter. And instead killed every person in my village.
The transference, it worked.
Yes. It did.
And you have the notes. You have the...
Yes.
And it's in your village.
Yeah. That's if the Thayers would even let us get close enough to it. As soon as I returned to the sanctuary, I'm sure they knew what I had done.
No one has been allowed to approach the site. Martorius has seen to it.
Not even with a member's, perhaps, inquiry as to investigate it again? we need to head that direction anyway. Perhaps 2 members. I mean, there is another colleague of our Choom's that's in that area.
So I've heard. Kira, right?
Perhaps something can be finagled. I don't know. Just an idea.
My concern is that time is going to be an issue. You're running out of it. It might not seem obvious to you yet, but the effects are unmistakable. The fact that you talk with the Chancellor, the fact that you are hearing voices, you are seeing things, you are feeling things, living experiences that are not your own, yes? Looks at you, Dandon.
Also, I don't know if it's important or not, but we don't have all of the pieces.
What?
It's shattered in whatever direction in Rancia.
No,
The other
Gristle.
piece in Gristle.
our friend that was with us, he died on the water and we never found his body. We thought it got swallowed up by the big orb of death, but Choom said the shard still exists somewhere, but we don't have it.
A complication.
Hoffrey. I can access Choom's magic. And I can take
There's-
spells from him.
There is perhaps less time than I thought. It'll be easier to see. And then Hoffrey looks down at his notes and then casts another spell. Corey, you recognize there's some detect magic in there, but it's been tailored. It's been edited, and as it takes effect, you begin to notice something. So he waves his hand, and you all feel your eyes water, blink quickly a few times, rapid succession, and when you open them again, the world is largely the same. But when you look at Hoffrey now, or if you look at Kane, you see that there is a ghostly ball of light shining from deep within their chest. It almost looks like a well-fueled campfire, right? It's like crackling and spitting occasionally as it illuminates and fills their body with this ethereal light. But as you look at your own companions, or as you look down at yourself, not so. The light, this flame, has died down considerably. Your outer extremities have gone dark and cold, and the fire struggles and is failing to fully light your body, with an exception of a small point of light, so bright and concentrated that it's the brightest, whitest light you've ever seen. It's pure light emanating from a shard embedded in all of your heads. As you take this in, there's a small pulse that goes through everyone's bodies, through Hoffrey and Kane. It's a pulse of light that fully illuminates them. In your case, this pulse Your soul, this flame, flickers and grows darker for a moment as that shard of light glows even brighter. And after a moment, the spell fades. I cannot remove the shard. You would have to find someone, a surgeon or a mage, more talented or with an ego larger than mine. As it is, a few weeks.
The Ion Stone. The seal on it was made by Martorius, right?
Yes.
He'd probably kill us, but he'd know how to do it. He's also the closest one to us right now.
Do not go to Martorius.
What other choice do we have? We couldn't even make it across
Village.
the Dragon Spine.
There is an option. It is there is a possible... There is a possibility. Have you heard the phrase that the need of many outweighs the needs of the few? Together, as a collective, I believe that we might be able to delay the ongoing soul degradation. It would buy you time. The process is not one I have ever done. It is more theoretical than practical, but the mechanics of it are fairly rudimentary. And you see he actually stands up here and kind of walks over to the forge. By temporarily diverting, by draining out a portion of your soul and metaphysically compressing them, your substantive aspects and core textures deform and conform to a unified shape. Your bound cells should then exhibit mutually reinforcing qualitative properties with improved durability and stress limits. Like a blade forged. Your souls would be bound to one another. They will be intermingled and made stronger for it, like the metal that you forge beneath the hammer.
It's like combining different types of steel to make the sword stronger.
Yes, exactly. We would bind your souls, and in so doing, strengthen them. Stoke the fires within you so that you have more time. I said this has never been attempted before. I don't know if there will be side effects, but
Luckily, time is one thing I'm good at.
I cannot make the decision for you.
There might be nightmares. Just a fair warning.
There will definitely be nightmares.
Looks at Dandon. Are you okay with this?
I don't really think we have a choice.
How long?
Unless there's the world's best surgeon in that dwarf hold over there.
Joffrey just shakes his head.
After we do this, how long will we have?
It is hard to estimate. It depends on how well the souls are bound, how well they reinforce one another, or fract and compound, but
I have a theory.
Mhm.
If we time it right, I might be able to, as soon as the flame reignites, to put a stasis on it. As like a buffer. To keep it in that state for as long as possible.
how would you do this?
Like I said, time is the only thing I'm good at. The same way I put Kane over there in that cocoon for a second or two. But I don't know what type of weight that would put on me.
We will need to talk. But is this something you are prepared to do? Something you are willing to take on?
Corey just looks at Dandon.
Joffrey is also looking mostly at Danton. But like kind of between Elias and
Yeah.
Danton.
Look, I'm 14, and I don't really know if I understood half of what you guys were just talking about. But I don't want to not have a soul anymore. So, whatever we have to do to put a pause on that.
Look.
You said
Right.
it's like foraging, right?
Yes.
Well, I don't know much about anything, but... And my eyes spark a little bit, and I go, I think my soul is really hot.
That will be good. Need something, December?
Oh, well, that was Kane raising his hand.
Kane, yeah, Kane.
I'm not really sure what we're talking about exactly, but it sounds like y'all are putting your souls, sort of hammering them together to make them stronger. I don't know what's happening, but I know that, and I point at Corey, is supposed to stay alive, and I'm supposed to help. So, can you, would it be helpful to take some of mine and add it to them? And would that make it stronger?
For the first time, really, Joffrey is showing emotion of surprise, of like, you what?
You fucking what, mate?
You fucking what?
You're
mate?
willing to put your
There's-
soul on the line for...
Strangers.
You've just met after killing.
Look, it's complicated. My
There's-
soul's taken care of. But
You have
For some-
unwavering faith.
for some reason, I have been asked rather strongly to be here, and certain things that Miss Corey has said has made it very obvious why. And the more this conversation continues, the more I feel like there is definitely a reason for it. So The little I know about forging, the more metal you use, the stronger the blade. So consider my metal at your disposal.
Is this okay with all of you?
It might give
Again.
me more of an insight of what the fuck is going on.
Good
I
luck
need
with that.
to reiterate that this binding is not something that can be undone. It is your being compounding upon one another.
This
Ain't no better way to get to know someone.
I'd argue against that.
this is not a
Feeling.
joke.
And I'm not kidding.
Yeah, just
I've had about 200 years with my soul. I reckon I got time to share.
There's no need to get others involved necessarily. You have no part in this. Why?
Corey begins bouncing her fingers and like fidgeting and walks over to the desk and begins rapidly writing down equations.
Yeah, smart.
I think I know how to do it.
I'll leave you to discuss this. And Hoffrey goes over and sits down with you, Corey, and starts. You two start talking shop.
I think I already gave my reasons. I don't really understand them either, but Danya has shown an interest. Therefore, y'all are my interest. And as far as I can tell, and he holds up his left hand, she does want you alive.
Yeah, and in the past, when you're like on the right path, or like when you see someone who is, you're like, is that my target or not? If it is, like the clarity you experience in that moment, the focus you experience is exactly what you're experiencing in this moment.
Like I said, my soul's taken care of. Whatever nonsense this man is talking about, I don't think it will affect me and my goddess particularly. So, if you'll have it, I got the materials.
Elias gives
If it'll buy me more time, I don't see how one extra is any more detrimental than 3.
Elias gives Dandon some sweets and just make sure they're okay. And walks towards Coralia.
Yeah, as you walk over to Coralia, you hear Hoffrey speaking to you, Corey. So, explain to me this stasis.
There is a stasis that I accidentally placed on myself when I froze that village, and it has kept me like this for 22 years. There's a possibility that with the amount of time I've spent studying time, I might be able to manipulate it so it goes on all of us instead of just on me, but that can possibly freeze us all at this point in time. Like at this age, and not allowing us to age or change or anything like that, but theoretically speaking, it would also put a freeze on the level of power our soul would be in if I timed it just right. And this is all theoretical. I've only managed to do this once and it was an accident.
If you are able to establish the stasis at the moment of the highest, it's not heat, but the brightest, the moment when they are compounding and have achieved their full binding, that is when you must do it.
Yes. And I cannot be seconds later. Or earlier.
It could work. It could work.
Only
Finish the calculation. Oh,
a moment,
yeah. Zoom up.
please.
I need to gather materials. And Hoffrey jogs off and leaves you.
Corey is like shaking and is like bouncing her leg and rapidly writing calculations. It is written all over her face. She is terrified.
I just put a hand on your shoulder just to calm you for a second. I know. I know that you can probably do it, but I don't think the possibility of losing you is well worth the chance of this. And I take a glance at Dandon and we'll make it work somehow. Hoffrey is able to give us some additional time, but you doing this will put an extreme strain on your, and from what I can understand, if it fails, we could lose you as well.
It is a possibility. It would be like me being inside of that bubble again. Just 100 times worse. It would be like walking into the forge myself and letting every part of me burn. Luckily.
And she like places a hand on Elias's like cheek.
I'm resistant to fire.
You are resilient.
I need to give her a chance to be a kid.
I know I can't stop you, but hold off on this until after you figure it out. Hold off on this until the moment we really need it.
As you're having this conversation, Hoffrey is left to gather supplies and materials and spell books and everything required for this insane binding that has been proposed. A familiar voice speaks in all of your heads. So I heard most of, and not in yours, game. I did hear most of that. I just wanted to say a few words now. Like Hoffrey said, it's nothing personal. I'm not trying to take over your bodies. It is a simple reaction, involuntary
But you knew.
consequence. I knew.
Didn't you?
I knew what?
That your soul was going to start to take over ours.
Well, yes,
and you didn't fucking say anything.
I wanted everyone to have a clear head and stay focused on the task at hand. I
He's
didn't
talking
want
to everybody,
burden-
right?
What's that?
He's talking to everybody, or just
He's
Corey?
talking to everyone, yeah.
And
I
Corey
didn't
is saying this out loud.
I didn't wish to burden your minds heavy already with.
I could have already been
Everything
figuring out the
happening.
calculations if you had said something.
I didn't realize how far it has come. I didn't know that there were weeks left only. I thought we would have more time. But you're right, Coralia. I didn't say anything.
Oh.
And you could have been working on this. And
Choom, if I
I
have
am
to clean up another one of your fucking messes across Terra, I swear I will rip you out myself.
I'm sorry.
I trusted you. And that is all she will say.
After Corey's mind closes, a beat passes before Joom speaks again. Well, I suppose I deserve that, but I do wish to reiterate what it is that Hoffrey has said. Make sure you consider this carefully. The binding of a soul, the binding of multiple souls together is, well, it is something that has never been done before.
And you will share your knowledge on the matter.
I will share the knowledge that is relevant. We all have our secrets, Elias, and in my case, there are things that have been taken from me. So I will share what I can. I ask only that you take this time to ponder your situation, your choices before you, and once you have chosen, just be prepared. As Chun leaves and Hoffrey is gathering supplies, you are all alone. What do you all do?
Dandon will get up and walk over to where Corey is working on notes and calculations, and I'll just quietly sit down next to her and just say, "You had a daughter, Miss Corey?"
She pauses. She sets down the quill in her hand. She turns to Dandon. Her name was Skyla.
That's a pretty good name.
She had beautiful magenta eyes. She was very little when I lost her.
Is she still there?
No. I hid her. I didn't want them to know what I had done. Corey takes Dandon's hand and presses it to her stomach. When I accepted the ability to do the magic I trained to do, I lost the ability to have kids. And to make Skyla, I had to take her soul from someone else's body. I'm sorry. And she will let go of their hand.
If you think you can do it, I think you should do it.
I'm going to do it.
I know that. I know you think you screwed up really bad. But I think we all kind of screwed up really bad, and I don't think any of us really know what we're doing. But you're the one who, like, has actually learned stuff. Like, Elias knows how to do, like, doctor stuff. But you, like you went to school, and you know math and stuff.
You would too if you did your homework.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
There's a lot going on. And Corey's like voice chokes, and you can see that there are just tears rolling down her face.
I'm gonna help the best that I can. If you need anything, just a bit. I don't know.
God damn it, Blake.
I don't know what is still left in my gifts from Miklas, but I can help. I can help you focus.
Corey will wipe the tears from her face, and she will kiss the top of Dandon's head. Right. We're going to need that flame. And she will look over at John. And yours too.
John,
thing.
John has gotten on his knees, and he was clutching his amulet. He inclines his head like he heard you, but he doesn't open his eyes or say anything.
Well, I have some math to do.
Yeah. I'll let you get to it.
That is not meth. I did not say meth, Blake.
Dandon will just nod and just kind of touches you on the shoulder as I stand up, and you get a little guidance casted into you. It lasts for a minute.
Corey's about to make a check.
But as Dandon walks away, you see a little glow on the next to you where Dandon was sitting, and there's just a little magenta marble with a light cantrip cast on it.
God damn, this kid is sweet.
John, as you kneel silently, head bowed. How is John feeling? What's going through John's head?
John is in I think, a turmoil of emotions, as all of us are. But he can't do any of that stuff. He just comprehends the concept. It makes sense. It's terrifying. It's would be very nice to have maybe the divines look favorably upon it.
Mhm.
So he is doing his darndest to call out.
And who is John praying to?
John is praying to the Redeemer.
No religion check needed. You do not get a response.
I think John spends a long enough time there that the quiet is dissettling. There is panic rising within him. I think you can face off battles and armies and men, but there is a lit fuse and a timer on it. And he reaches out for that feeling that grasped his being when she died, that change. He grasps at the ghastly, cool feeling of death that has embraced him.
It
He
is
pleads.
not as warm and reassuring as the divines, as Miklas ever was. And yet there is a comfort in the coldness that you reach out to and feel. A reminder that you are alive, you exist, you feel this still. You, John, one of many names, you feel still.
And he would continue to feel if given the opportunity, knowing the implicant change in that.
Certainly. Elias? How you doing, buddy?
Do we know if we're doing the soul bioting this night?
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
is that okay?
in a couple act? No. Like
Oh,
in game.
yes. Yeah, Hoffrey's going. He's getting shit together right now.
Like within the next hour, or?
Oh, yes, within the next singular hour.
Okay.
If you wanted to wait, you could like talk to him and delay, but as is within the hour.
Denton. Do you want to take a walk by the lake?
You're muted if you said something.
Yeah, Kyle, I didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
Great.
Two of you step outside.
Yeah, we step aside.
As you head out to the pond, you see that the blood on the ground has been like cleared away. The stone statues turn silently to behold you and continue their sentry.
What do you think about everybody?
What do you mean?
Your thoughts? What do you think about me?
I think you are really good at figuring out other people, but even though you try really hard, I think it's still easy for people to kind of figure out you. Not like what you got going on, but I just mean in your mind. I think you're a good person. Ever since I met you, you haven't done anything other than try to help. And I don't know where you're from, and I don't know if you worship a god or a seraph, and I don't know if you had a family. I don't know any of those things, but I know it's really easy to tell somebody who wants to help and somebody who doesn't. And I think you've been helping people for a really long time.
What? How you see me is how I see you. You have an enormous capacity for kindness. You are good. And I'm glad that I met you, even in these unfortunate circumstances.
Yeah. Destiny or fate or whatever.
Mhm.
As for the other guys, I think John's a good person who's done bad things. And I think Miss Corey was a good person. And I think she's on her way back.
Sometimes good people have to do things they're not proud of. But I think at the end of the day, as long as their heart is in the right place, they'll find their way back. When you were living by yourself, did you have any dreams? You have interest in Aurelia's contraptions.
My mom and dad were inventors. They made stuff. Little things, just to make people's lives better. We had a shop in Nova Solaris, and I would spend a lot of time in there with my dad. It was a long time ago. I don't remember much of it, but I remember always getting to test out new things and help out. I remember they really wanted to. They always talked about building a ship. Not one that sailed on the water, but one that flew through the sky. Like a big balloon. And they thought if you could make something like that, then all the kingdoms, all the cities on Terra would be more connected. You could travel to Morencia, you could travel to Ostoya, you could travel even up to the Northlands, and it would be a lot safer than traveling on land, and everybody would get to know each other, and there would be, more cooperation. And they always wanted to build it, but they knew that if they took it to the Imperium would just want to use it to start a war, to conquer. They had already tried to take Morencia by sea and it didn't work. Imagine if they just were able to fly right over the mists. But now, I don't know. I used to dream about flying a lot.
And your parents are.
They're gone.
Oh.
The Arcane Inquisition doesn't forgive even those that are just protecting someone else.
Your parents wanted to help people. And that's what you're doing now.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be proud of you, wherever they are.
Thanks.
Well, I'm sure the others, we've been gone long enough. The others probably waiting for us. It was nice talking to you, Dandin.
Aw.
You too, Mr. Elias. Now let's go. I don't know what we're doing. I really don't understand what it is that's happening, but I guess we're making a big soul out of all of our souls so we can be bigger and stronger than Choom. Woo!
You got it.
The two of you head on back inside before we get to Coralia and your impending check. Kane, what have you been doing in this little moment of quiet?
After they went outside, because I have learned Dana doesn't like it when I talk in Abyssal, which is just rude. I'm gonna go kind of move back into a corner and just kind of sit there for a minute. This is what we're doing.
Go ahead and give me a religion check.
Okay. 16.
a 16, you feel your focus still on Coralia, but it is extended as well to those still in this room. John has come into clear focus, and before they left, Elias and Dandin and even Hoffrey. All of this is all where you're meant to be. And on a 16, you hear a whisper. It's quiet, it's at the back of your mind, tickling your ear. Soul. Knowledge.
All right. Whatever you say. I'm trusting you. And as I hear that, I'm going to pull out a little bundle of sticks and some of the medallions from my bag, and I would like to cast Augury to see what's going to happen. I'd like to make this so it actually like coincides with when this is going to happen. It only is 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't. Yeah, okay.
We're gonna line it up. That's fine.
So basically, the way that Kane does it is he kind of puts out his little specially marked sticks, which are definitely bones, and he then lays out a token. He lays out 5 tokens, one for each person, around it. Of their medallions, not tokens, but yeah, I would like to know specifically about the results of Coralia's stasis and how that's going to turn out for us.
Okay. For Coralia's stasis.
And if that is something we should be attempting.
We're gonna zip over to Coralia real quick so we do this Arcana check, which takes place before this happens. Coralia. So you've compiled some information. You start sketching out equations. I need you to give me an Arcana check. This will determine some DCs for checks upcoming as part of this binding. You want a good roll, and the higher the better.
Arcana.
Arcana.
26.
26.
And didn't Dan give you guidance?
Oh, true. That's
I
what
I would roll the guidance.
The higher, the better.
What is that? A D4?
Yep.
See.
Oh, come on, 4, baby. Give me a 4. Oh, that's okay. 29. One more, and I could have been right there.
Again, as you cast the augury, asking about the stasis. You see Wheel and Woe.
I guess that was to be expected, wasn't it?
Yep.
Well, better than just whoa, so I'm considering this a win.
I consider this an absolute win.
Yeah.
God.
Look, I know you don't really care, or maybe you do. You already got my soul, I'm trusting it to you fully, but now we're getting a lot of other people involved, so I know you're going to take care of it.
I understand why Kyle told you, or you told Kyle that you needed to not have a character blinded by faith.
You've met Nico.
I know.
Nico is just a much more jackass version of Kane.
What's up, Val?
While as Corey finishes the equations in order to perform this stasis, she will listen for Kane muttering in the corner to himself before standing up and walking over to John. And she will place her hand along like the side of his neck and behind his ear. I'm doing this one for you too. One of us deserves to see our daughter again.
John looks up and opens his eyes, and his hand finds your forearm. Just kind of hangs upon it.
Make me a promise.
Oh.
If I die because of this, and if there is a body left, find a way to take it to the Church of Starlight at the sanctuary.
Should your death occur because of this, it will be done.
Pear, are you talking quietly? Okay. Cool. With that, then, Elias, Dandon return. As does Hoffrey. Right, well, giving you all a chance to back out of this if you wish. If we're going to do this, I think we should do it now.
I was just curious, Blake, did any of John's inward soul searching yield anything?
Oh, yeah. Give me a religion check.
The copium is faltering. 18.
In your soul searching, can you again remind me what specifically?
John was like like I said, the copium was faltering, so he's reaching out towards that presence that he knows does empower him.
Yes.
He is perhaps beginning to accept the fact that his deity is beyond reach, and that something else has taken an interest in him. And whatever that is, he knows is willing to, I guess he assumes is willing to listen, or is hoping.
Yes. You reach out, and on an 18, you get a feeling. You get a feeling of a freshly dug grave, and the comfort that brings to those buried beneath. The respect and care that is given to the dead is a good thing. Death is a part of life. And respecting the dead like this is, while it doesn't always have to be religious in nature, it is still a good thing. There are customs for a reason. And I think, John, as this thought comes to you, this, I don't want to say epiphany, but this realization of there's something to this outside of the hierarchy, the structure of, you know, seraphs and fiends, and the tetrarchy and organized religion. There is something that all of that is like built upon. And where does that come from? Does that come from somewhere, or did we create that? And does it matter?
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Hoffrey,
Yes, Dundon.
is somebody, could this hurt us? Like physically?
Physically, well, that's an interesting question now. Physically, your bodies should remain safe and whole. Your souls are going to be put through quite the ordeal. And you may be hurt, yes.
Well, the only reason I asked is because Mr. Elias gave me this potion that's supposed to, like, make it so I don't get hurt as bad, but I wanted to know if I should give it to someone else. Like, is Miss Corey gonna get hurt by magic that she's doing?
If I understand Corellia's plan correctly in the magic involved here, there is a chance for that to happen. For her specifically, yes.
Okay, Miss Corey, drink the potion of invulnerability right before you do whatever you're gonna do. It lasts a minute, so...
I'm sorry, did you say a potion of invulnerability?
Yeah,
More
he's
like
got
a tincture. Elias made us a bunch.
He's got a cool, like, tea set.
Elias, you've upgraded.
I can also
I may have
rewind
found-
time if I fail, so.
By the way, if we all survive this, you should invest in our small business.
A smile cracks his face. You know what? If you all do survive this, then I think I will. Yes.
Ooh, Thayard sponsorship.
I wouldn't
Oh.
say that.
Uh,
Yes, Kane.
A quick question. I guess probably should have mentioned this before. I got like a lot of necrotic stuff going on. Is that going to be a problem?
oh yes, the hellfire is going to be scorching. I hope you're all ready for it.
Mm,
Sacred flame.
I do not know.
I'll do that too.
Again, we are working metaphysically here, so hopefully we leave behind some of the physical effects, but we are entering into the unknown.
Right. Sounds good.
Please, all of
Just
you.
in case I do succeed at this. Time is cold and boundless like the voids of space. I don't know what freezing this will do to all of us.
Well, I think There is no time like the present. Please, all of you, have a seat again.
Golly
You'll
gee.
As you'll sit down in this half circle around the forge again. Hoffrey closes his eyes and begins to chant softly to himself. Yes, let's clarify, this is an excellent time to do so. The soul binding is the one thing. This is going to compound, bind, and hopefully reinforce, reignite your souls, buying you more time. The stasis is an attempt, feel free to step in here, Corey, is an attempt to hopefully freeze some of this effect, freeze the ongoing negative, the soul degradation, freeze your soul at a moment where it is its brightest. And hopefully that will be able to rebuff, or at least, again, buy even more time.
Maximize the amount of time we have.
Yeah. Keep it at that max level as long as possible, before that stasis eventually snaps, and we are now on actual time.
Yes.
Yeah. She's casting gentle repose on our souls.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Precisely.
Correct. Yeah.
So as Hoffrey begins to close his eyes and chant, you see in one hand he's holding a forge hammer, though it is marked with runes all over, practically glowing with magic, an extremely magical item here. As he begins to chant, closes his eyes, his free hand curls into a claw, and he reaches out and swipes his hand, pulling at all of you. As he pulls,
Yeah, as we're beginning this process, John will mutter a prayer of guidance for Coralia.
Cool.
Just he doesn't know necessarily who he's praying to, so it's not titled, but may you stay on this side of the grave with us.
Absolutely. As this clawed hand pulls at all of you, you feel a weakness take hold of you. A weariness deep within your chest. As you look down, you see your form grows translucent to an almost ghostly, ethereal version of yourself, and you see wisps begin to drain from you and intermingle atop the forge before you all. These wisps, this light, concentrates and refracts upon itself, growing in size and intensity. And as you begin to be drained, have your soul drained, the process is excruciating. For those who were in Morencia when you first were struck by these shards, this feeling is akin to that burning in your heads and minds as those ion shards pierced your skulls. But this time the pain extends from head to toe. You feel it inside and out. And as you feel your essence leave your body, only to meet the essence of the others around you, to begin the process of compounding and binding together, I have a question for all of you.
Yes.
What is something that defines your character? What is a fear or hope or ambition that drives you, that like is quintessentially you? For as your souls are being bound together here and now, this quality is something that your companions are going to become privy to, whether they want to or not. This is something that is going to be deeply felt and understood by all of you about you. I'll give you all a moment to think. I'm gonna go fill my water bottle real quick. I'll be right back.
How's everybody doing?
I'm doing
This-
good, Gio. How are you doing?
This
Awesome.
session is as stressful as the fight on the ship, but in completely different ways.
Yep.
Yes. Facts on
amazing.
Sna. For real, for real.
Have you finished pondering your existence and meaning? Would anyone like to start? Would anyone like to share this core quality?
John's heart beats like a roaring fire, and there is not an emotion, an experience, or a person that has yet managed to quell that sense of life. He could not die if he wanted to.
I think from Corey, there is this frigid and gnawing loneliness that is so foundational to her being that it like feels almost as if you are experiencing like frostbite to the worst situation in all of your extremities. It's almost like an undefinable sadness.
For
Oh,
Ooh.
sorry.
You guys made the same noise.
for Elias, it's this agony that's tearing you up inside of wanting to fix what was torn up, broken, and give a future to those that want it.
For Kane, it's something he's already said out loud to all of you. You hear the service to Danya, to the divine end, but it is not a steady, strong belief. It is an echoing in a completely empty chamber. There is nothing else there but this belief, and it is bouncing off of nothing. That's all there is.
For Dandon, you see or you feel the true empathy and compassion, and under all of that, a deep fear that I'll never be able to help anyone for real.
Mm.
And that I will let my parents down, Miklas down, all of you down, everyone, because I've never been able to save anyone.
Mm. These fundamental truths about who you all are, who you view yourself as, are shared with one another. And not just shared, but felt and understood. Because they are your own thoughts and feelings. You have lived that. You are that. Your very essence continues to intermingle and weave itself together before you on this forge that is glowing brighter than ever with an ethereal blue light. Hoffrey, eyes still closed, still chanting this spell, swings his hammer down onto the forge, onto this mesh, this molten core of souls, with a resounding bang, and you feel it reverberate through yourself. Yes, but also through your companions. You feel it pass through them. You feel their limbs and nerves and their thoughts and feelings. And if you have the thought, if I were to raise my hand now, whose hand would it be that raises? And again, Hoffrey swings the hammer down, sending waves of pain arcing through your shared connection. Each swing cracks bone and crushes nerve endings. At least it would were you in your body in this instant. But the pain, gods, the pain, it is still there, rising and rising, like a swelling wave that will sweep you off the shore and out to a sea from which you'll never return. How could you return? How could anyone endure this pain? So you're grappling with this extremely painful process. This binding of something that was never meant to be combined with another. It's time for some checks. So these are going to be group checks to determine how successfully your souls are bound together, how successful this binding is. Because of our very good rolls earlier from Coralia, this has turned into a simple luck check.
Oh, God.
Roll a d20. On a 1 through a 10, that is a fail. On an 11 through 20, that is a success. This is a group check, meaning we need 3 successes to count as a group success, and 3 fails will likewise be a group fail, and we will be doing 3 of these group checks.
Okay.
At the end of the group check, we're going to roll for Corallia's attempted stasis, and we'll get to that when we get to that. People have inspiration, we can use those. Let's roll the first check.
I got an 18.
18 for Corey is a success. It's a 4 for Dan, and that's a
13,
fail.
13,
Oh, 13.
13.
That's
11
13.
for John.
11 for John takes us immediately to 3. We had a 2. That's okay. That is a success. Elias rolled.
A lizard.
Elias rolled a lizard?
Geo, no.
Geo.
Joaquin.
Oh no.
Hey, I see your lights.
I saw him just like stand up and sit down, so I think he might be like getting an actual die, which is great commitment.
Which is great. He's like, I'm not rolling this shit on
Yeah,
D&D
exactly.
Beyond.
He's
I'm not rolling it on roll 20.
trusting it.
He's like, I've got some good ones.
All right, we'll hold up for Geo for the next roll.
That's fair. Geo deserved it.
Just warming the dice up, though. Eh?
Yeah, just warming them up. I think I have to alternate sets for this, to be fair, because I have 2 sets.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Geo.
Yeah.
What happened?
Oh, we were just waiting for you.
We were waiting
Okay.
for you. How
We
would you roll?
succeeded overall.
Yeah. It was an overall success. What did you roll though, for the first check?
11.
Okay. Very
Hell
good
yeah,
rolls
brother.
all around. All right. So first is a success. Time for the second check. Go ahead and roll your d20.
12.
16.
7.
Fail.
Okay.
14.
That is a third success. 2 group checks have been successful. Roll again.
This is terrifying.
One more.
Mamas.
19.
Natural 20.
15.
10.
It was almost a 20. It was right beside the 20, but it's an 8.
But it's an 8.
Close, but it's still a success overall.
But it's an 8.
Oh.
Excellent.
Just as you are sure that your soul, each and every one of you, is a moment away from shattering completely, you cannot endure anymore, even in this metaphysical, ethereal state. Hoffrey swings the hammer one final time. And as the hammer is a mere fraction of a distance away from the forge, Coralia, the time has come. So hold up. Coralia, what you are attempting to do here is breaking the rules of your stasis, right? The stasis typically is a very short duration. You quickly freeze someone. Last time you did a more permanent stasis, really bad. It's incredibly difficult to do this. DC is incredibly high. You are going to roll with advantage because of your prep work. The DC is 30.
Thanks, God. I appreciate it. Is this an
And
Arcana
you-
check?
Have guidance.
This is an Arcana check. You have guidance. So roll them one at a time.
Elias disagrees of this process, but can't do
Yeah.
anything about it.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, we're currently about to be hit by a hammer, and our souls are an inch away from shattering.
Oh!
I dropped it. I'm shaking really bad. I gotta stop putting myself in these situations.
I blame Blake as much, though.
What'd you
What'd
get?
you roll?
What's the total?
plus guidance, which is a D4,
1d4.
I can still pass.
So this is our first roll. Tell me what you get. What did you get before guidance?
26.
You would need the 4.
I know.
Like,
Roll the d4.
Ah,
I have an interjection because
What's that?
all of our souls are currently combined at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I can use
Can
an
I-
inspiration before I do this.
This is very close to success. I have an ability called Favored by the Seraphs. And it allows me to roll an extra 2d4 if I fail at something. And because all of our souls are currently connected to one another, could that come into this theoretically?
You said it yourself. Your souls are one in this instant. Your abilities, Dandin, are also Coralia's, just as they are Elias's or Kane's or John's. So what did we roll on the d4? 1. So we are currently at a 27.
So we need at least 4, and we have the potential to roll 8.
27.
Are you gonna roll
yeah,
the-
You need,
I-
you need 3
Oh, I
in
need
order
3.
to meet it. Yes.
Do you want to
Okay.
roll D4s, Dandin, or do
I've
you want
got
me to
'em-
do it?
I've
Okay,
got
you
'em
can do
right
it.
here.
Roll a 1 at a time. Stretching this out.
First
Up the
one,
content.
first one from
27.
the standard yellow dice. 2.
We're at 29. Mathematically,
It's
Three.
it has. Woo!
unless it sticks on the
Yeah.
20 side, it doesn't. It is a very close thing. Coralia, you are attempting to find this minuscule fraction of a second to release your spell, and in your nervousness, this anxiety, you know what happened last time you did this. Oh gods, it fucked everything up. I'm gonna fuck everything up here in this instant. My daughter, you look at Dandin, and you are about to go a second too early and freeze it before. Until Dandin, would you like to narrate how this intervention arrives?
You feel Dandin is, I presume, as racked with pain as everybody else is in the situation.
Yep.
But Coralia, how this manifests, a small magenta marble in your pocket beats and gets slower and slower and slower until the exact moment that you need to go. And it pulses with the same kind of heat that Dandin gives off when radiant consumption is active. Just a trigger.
Coralia.
Yeah, Corey, her eyes are so focused on the forge, counting each tick, and counting down the millimeters until it gets to, the combined souls again, and just for that 1 second, her eyes move to Dandin. And she is enveloped with this feeling, and her eyes jump back to the forge, and she pulls the thread from it and ties it around herself. And it's almost like you all hear the ticking of the flame stop all at once.
this coalesced, refracted, compounded, bound soul is frozen in time. Hoffrey wastes not a moment more. He sweeps his hand again, clawed in this talon, and the light breaks apart and surges back towards all of you. You see your ethereal form reassert itself in your body. As it collides with you, you feel your physical body again straining to contain something greater than it was ever meant to contain. Something greater now than the sum of its parts. This energy, more of it than you've ever felt before. It is as if your veins are alight with magma burning in your skin, in your body, in your muscles, your tissue. You feel this intense pressure building and building in your chest as your vision goes fuzzy. And again, your sensation in this moment is not just that of yourself, but it is that of those around you. It takes time. You're not certain how long each of you kneels there while your soul reasserts itself in your body, while you adapt to these new feelings, this flame that has been kindled and stoked to a taller flame than ever before, for it idles back down. But you sense it won't take much to see it burn bright and hot again. As Hoffrey, sweating and panting, ceases his spell, opens his eyes. How do all of you come out of this state?
What's the immediate feeling as I shock awake?
You shock awake. There are too many feelings. It's because it's not just your feelings, it's the feelings of all those around you. It is a overstimulation. It is pain, but no, your body is fine. It is a lingering pain of your soul. It is hot. It's so hot. There's such a warmth inside you. You feel like you need to take your clothes off. It is a lot.
Dandin comes awake, and once again, it looks like their body is gonna light up like a candle. Just sacred, radiant magic just pouring out of the eyes, out of the mouth, and the hair, what little bit of hair has started to grow back, flickers like it's going to catch again as well. But then instead of doing that, Dandin reasserts control and runs around the room.
As Kane sits up on his knees, just on fire. His face is still blank, but he is crying, and it is just, for some reason, the tears run almost black, like the ink around his eyes is running, and he stands up and leaves the building, and I'm walking directly into the pond.
Yeah.
Just straight beeline.
Valid. John is
Just
kneeling,
ignore that.
just one knee, leaning on that knee with both arms. I think his eyes have gone, at least the pupils have gone entirely slitted, and he is just drenched in sweat, and his breath is steaming. Probably.
Yeah, absolutely. Corey.
So what type of... I just used the power that I have not touched in multiple decades. Do I need to make like a con save or something? Because the last time I did that, I froze myself in time.
You have already made your check.
Okay. Corey just kind of goes limp like a marionette. Eyes glazed.
Mhm.
I think when John's legs finally find him, he stumbles to Coralia, slumped there, like a marionette, and pulls her into an incredibly tight hug. Not like crush you tight, but like firm.
Yeah.
I gotta stop dancing with death. My hair can only get so much more white.
Lies.
Elias hunches over one of the tables or whatever, I suppose. And for a brief moment, maybe 1 or 2 seconds before he composes himself, everybody sees in full view his true form.
What does it look like? Give me the art or all of the gory details.
This grotesque feature of hulking mass. Flesh warped around bone, warped around muscle. You can see parts of him throbbing, pulsing. Other parts dry and almost like it wants to tear itself away from the body.
How many eyes does he have?
4.
4?
Less than I expected, but still a lot.
Honestly, a
What do
lot
you-
less than I
what do you
expected.
think-
I was thinking
Or
like
they do-
minimum 8.
Or they're gonna see, but what do you think his passive perception is? 31.
Yeah, that's why I thought you had like 12 eyes. Like
No, it's
all
just
over
2
your
dudes.
body. Yeah.
But as he
2 in the
composes
front,
himself,
2 in the back.
you see him reel that back in as it forms a more solid structure, and he puts up his normal form.
Yeah, you see, Hoffrey has seen this as well. It gives you a bit of a nod.
What Hopper sees is this one looks more aged than one that he's seen before.
Yeah, last time. Is everyone alive? It kind of like looks through a window real quick, sees Kane splashing into the pond.
Kane is walking back towards the house, and he took off all his guns and stuff, so he's just like has his coat, his vest, all of his guns tucked under one arm, and he's just walking back inside, just drenched and
Yeah.
just so confused. I would like to try to grab the child as it runs
Yeah.
by me.
Are you contesting, Dandan?
So, Hoffrey, is there anything you can do about the feeling everything all the time constantly, or is that just how this is now?
I think that it should. Theoretically, it should start to fade with time. Once you grow accustomed to it, you should be able to focus only on yourself, but the others will remain within reach of your soul, for they are your soul.
That sounds. Hmm.
Our consciousness is all connected now.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
like rubbing
does
all
this-
up on each other.
Does this mean I can hear Choom now? Or is that still in the IOS?
In fact,
Oh no.
as
You're part of the fight
yeah,
now.
you start to hear Tube come onto the comms.
Yeah, you just hear it through everybody
I,
except your own.
Yeah, exactly. It's not projected into your mind 'cause there's no shard there, but your souls are connected to everyone else's, so you still hear it. You're alive. You survived. It
Kane,
worked.
Kane immediately pulls his gun. What was that?
That's Choom.
Oh, that would be Kane, wouldn't it be? Ah, fascinating. Well, Kane, I look forward to getting to know you, like I have all of these fine folks. But
Did that spell have caffeine in it?
Yeah, Blake, is there like any mechanical benefit besides the time that we've gained? I don't know. Are you about to drop something on us here, man?
Jacob. Oh,
Is
Jacob.
this? Do we get a thing?
Oh, Jacob.
Do we get stuff?
Oh, Jacob.
Things Blake has planned.
Great and terrible.
Let me go ahead and drop this into the docs.
Oh god.
Oh God, we're getting a
No.
document. A
We
whole
got wheel
doc-
and woe, baby.
We got wheel and woe.
Hopefully this works.
Le docs. Le docs.
No!
Soul Arts. Let's go.
Soul Arts. That PNG. That PDF actually.
Is dependent on level, so as level 8 characters, the soul die size is 6. We have a pool of 3. Moving forward, you will be selecting 2 of the following soul arts, and there may be more in the future that you will be able to unlock as you deepen your connection and understanding of your soul and the potential of your bound souls.
So we select 2 from.
You select 2 from
character.
your page, yes.
Right, yeah, okay.
Everyone has their own customized.
We just get to know everything about each other all the time, constantly now, because we are the same person, everybody.
This is gonna be so fun.
Yes.
These are
so-
so fucking cool.
So I guess that means everybody now has permission to DM and demand facts about a character and then learn them.
So this is actually something worth talking about, is you have access to other people's souls, essentially. Whether or not you choose to access that, if you're going to go sorting through someone's soul, is I think a deeply kind of personal decision, and a frankly invasive one. And if someone is accessing your soul, at the very least you will be made aware of it. So keep that in mind. I would still recommend you talk to one another. But this is another potential kind of layer of complexity on top of things, that there are boons certainly to this process, and then there are probably some significant complications.
God, I'm reading the little blurb you gave
Those are so
me
fun
at
to
least. I
write.
haven't got anyone
Oh,
else's yet.
The Choom blurbs are great. This
Yeah, I
is-
love them.
Choom is such a character.
He's such a guy, that Choom. He's gonna do great and terrible things. The realms will shake in his presence.
This is fucking nasty.
Oh yeah, I know which 2 I'm picking. chosen already.
I have one called Bullet Time. I just like the title.
That's pretty great.
As Hoffrey looks at all of you, Choom is heard through all of your minds. You feel this flame kindled within, this unlocking of a deep-seated potential that is great and terrible. And you feel Choom, a sense of pride exuding from him at what you have all accomplished here. And a sense of remembrance as well. Hoffrey looks at you all. Where we've been through something I wasn't sure is possible. And somehow you are all alive and appear to be in working order. I think that's enough for one night. Please, everyone, there are rooms upstairs. Rest here. And let's meet in the morning and talk about what comes next. Hoffrey looks at all of you again, gives a kind of a shake of his own head, and departs.
Like, I would just like to say, the Soulborn concept is so much cooler than the Chosen's, like, points that we had with War of the Burning Sky.
So cool.
Hey, thanks, Phil.
Way cooler.
That's very funny. Thank you.
I don't know which one to pick.
You get to choose two.
Well, you get two.
I don't know which
Two.
ones to pick.
All of you. The Killjoys are now soul-bound heroes.
Yeah.
What's next in store? We'll have to find out next week.
Yes!
The lads of Grimpunk. Oh,
I do have a recommendation, though, before we break for the eve.
what's up?
John has a sizable retirement fund that might be pertinent to grab, and it's just a little bit north at the capital. You know, and just before we boogie on east. I don't know how much you want to make that. I don't know what you want my decade of service to amount to, but
Yeah,
I trust you, Blake.
we'll figure something out.
Hold on. Look at the map.
Oh, wait, I'll throw it back up on.
Oh, it's
Roll
all good.
20.
That was intense as fuck.
Yeah,
It's terrifying.
great.
Dude.
We did it, guys. We survived.
Great session.
Great session, everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, we just have to get up to Altenheim. That is
Yeah.
where
We're in
John's
Right.
home was.
Altenheim.
Which
Will
is literally an entire mountain range between us and there.
That's
I
no big
mean,
deal.
To be fair, way closer than the next destination, which I think
Oh,
is the other side of the
100%
continent.
I agree.
I will also
100%
say,
I agree.
Elias, you would know this. Hoffrey has a teleportation circle.
Ooh,
Humphrey
hot.
is no
hot.
chump. So
Of course not.
if you want to go somewhere, you might be able to hitch a ride via teleportation. If you want to go somewhere after that, that's on your own.
Fine.
We
We'll
might.
probably leave in the morning.
What if potentially travel normally north and then back down to teleport to the other side of the world? Let's avoid the gray spines altogether. You know, there's
And
nothing.
because he said he would invest in our business.
Maybe we don't
have-
need my money then. We could just skip that altogether.
Well, no, we just have we have Hoffrey use his prestigious magical ability to make our cart dope as fuck.
Oh my god, make it
Whoa.
like
Aha.
Just
No,
paint
not-
it. Like really, we just
Oh,
need it.
okay.
We need the branding.
I
We'll
thought
just
you were
get
gonna make
more
it
than a
like full
30
like
gold
it's bigger
cart.
on the inside. Like
That is
full like
also
magic
better.
cart, like there's a full fucking actual clinic inside the door.
Yeah,
Corey
Like,
could
that's
probably just
also
do that
great.
at some point.
Like,
Yeah, I feel like there's. Oh my god.
and also
These are
give
so
us a bunch
cool.
of like I think he's got some cleric in there. Give us a bunch of like herbalism shit, so we can just stock up the cart and go, and we can travel like we were planning to travel anyway.
I don't know which ones to pick. Corey's just so fucking cool.
I
Yeah.
know which two I'm
Just-
gonna pick.
Steal spells. Oh my god.
Well, I'm definitely doing the stealing of the spells because it's Corey.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I want the Soul Whip more or if I want the Arcane Reflection more, because the Soul Whip just says, oh, you're casting a spell, the spell hits.
What speaks more to Corey?
I don't know. I feel like she's really...
Well, here's the real answer, or the real question. What speaks most to Corey? Offense or defense? In this moment right now.
True.
Oh,
Yeah.
I guess it would be an yeah. It would be. That's valid.
Bro, yeah,
Okay.
the little fucking speech bubble tunes. Oh,
They're so good.
Yeah, I love the very first
Is
one.
this
How
what
the
you've been
date
cooking?
is Soul Day 69/420.
He's
yeah,
been cooking this for months.
yeah,
Oh my
Probably
God.
over a year. Or almost a year.
yeah, close to.
I love that.
This is wild.
Oh my god. These are
Jacob,
so cool.
do we get
is
anything
incredible.
from this, or?
I mean, you specifically
That's so
said
funny.
we feel like we were overflowing with immense amounts of
Goddamn
power
right.
in every fiber of our being, and we felt that across everybody. And you never really said it went away, so
yeah.
felt worthwhile
That
to
was
ask.
insane.
I'm always
So we
gonna be
had-
that guy. I'll always be that guy that asks if we get stuff.
Oh,
So we ended with a long rest, right?
we're gonna end with a long rest. Yeah, we'll next session we'll see if there's any bedtime conversations, and then fast forward clock next day and see what the new day brings.
I forgot I took a good amount of damage from that that natural one religion check that first session I was
Yeah.
in. Yeah, that
That's
kicked
why
my
I
ass a little
only
bit.
stabbed you a little bit.
I get a text from Kyle today. Hey, are you sure you did your hit points right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Figured out I did. I just roll like shit.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
Soul
dude.
Whip